I'm back. Hello, everyone. Your favorite inconsistent streamer has returned from vacation 3 days ago. Hi, table. Today, because I know how much you guys love watching me eat, we have rigatoni for dinner. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish all of it. I made an entire box just because I wanted to use the entire box. But that's fine. Whatever I don't eat, I'll just put a lid on this and it'll be lunch for tomorrow. But I figured while I wait for everyone to realize that I exist, we can I'll eat a little bit. You know? Mmm. How was it? I love ramen. But man, do I probably eat the shittiest ramen. How was homemade ramen? But yes, I'm back. I have stories. I must inform you of what I've done. The days I've cried. The one day I went to the hospital. Well, but that's spoilers. And all the things that I bought. I bought so many things. I'm so happy that I saved up for this trip because I was able to go into the convention hall and just be like, I want it, I buy it. I was still a little hesitant the first couple of days. So I was just like, I really want to watch my spending. And then I realized how much money I had. And I was like, I can spend, I can buy shit. You got pictures? Put them in the Discord. Um, yeah, you can just throw them in pictures. Unless you think cooking is arts and crafts, which, maybe it is. It is called the culinary arts. So you can throw it in pictures or arts and craft, whichever. I didn't think about having a designated food channel. I know some people do that. I'm in Discords where people have food channels. They just like to share what they make. Oh, it looks so good. That really does look like you went to a store, you went to like a restaurant and bought ramen. Like if you sent that picture and didn't tell me that you made it, I'd be like, "Yeah, you went." It's like, "Oh, cool, you went to a restaurant and had ramen. Sweet." No, that's amazing. I personally don't like eggs, but that's just me. That's just me personally. Personally, I don't eat eggs. But just pop the eggs out. Hi, 1 2. It took you 2 hours. I don't think I could cook anything for 2 hours. I don't think I have the patience for it. This took 11 minutes, and I was complaining how long it took. 1 2. The food for today's stream is rigatoni with sauce. Guys, I'm eating pasta with sauce. It's tomato sauce. Are you proud of me? Are you proud that it's not butter and parmesan? Which I'm not gonna lie, I ate that like yesterday. That was yesterday's dinner. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else wants to pop up because, once I start talking, there's no stopping. The eggs are hard boiled and toppings so optional. Yeah, I figured they were optional. When you make anything, every ingredient is optional. I put an entire package of Italian seasoning into this pasta, and I think I am regretting that decision because I think it's just too much seasoning. I like it, but it's pretty strong, and I think it's burning my mouth. I got hit by a loop and now have serious delay. BRB. Got hit by a loop. What's a loop? I mean, I know what a loop is, but in the context of how do you get hit with a loop? What does that mean? I don't know what that means in this context. Also, something I've just noticed about my internet is that it'll just go out randomly for like a few minutes. So if the stream crashes, you can all scream and raise your fists to the air and just be like Spectrum because that's what I'm dealing with. That's who I have. So if the internet goes out randomly, we can all collectively shake our fists at the air like we're and it's yell Spectrum and then wait for the internet to come back on. But yeah, I don't know why that happens. It's just every once in a while, my phone will say, "Hey, you lost internet. You want to use data instead?" And I go, "Yeah." Your VOD looped on me to repeat something from 30 seconds ago. Interesting. I've never seen that happen before. I also don't watch a lot of people's streams, so that also doesn't help. So the VOD itself, my stream, the Twitch was just looping the same. Man, I kind of want to see a clip of that. Is that like for everyone? Was that for everyone or just specifically you? One, two. Was I also looping for you? Because if it's a Twitch thing, I kind of want to see it. But also, what was I looping? Like, imagine if you were just looping something really dumb, like the punchline of a joke, and they just kept looping the punchline over and over again. But yeah, I want to give it a few more minutes before I start talking about the con. Nope, not for you. Just a tabletop problem. L. L plus ratio plus couldn't be me. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes because GalaxyCon was a 5-day event, and oh boy, do I have stories. Some more important than others, and I want to try to only tell them once. Which reminds me, I'm going to specifically pin Space to see if Space is busy. Space is on Discord. You busy for stream watching? I need my emotional support crow. Space is sitting outside the gym in a car. Hello! Welcome! Emotional support crow will be home soon. I'm assuming that's what that means. emo emo supporter to crow would wanna be home soon. It's okay. It's okay. I read it correctly the first time. What were you doing? Typing with like one hand or something? Yeah, you speak me. I had a dizzy spell in the gym, waiting it out before I drive. Oh no! Did you push yourself too hard? Hmm. Well, you definitely take care of yourself. You know, we don't want we don't want Remus cursing you as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't pull a Remus on me. Demus. Demon Remus. He'll lose his arms and his legs. We'll give him the seizures. What else can we do to Remus? Yeah, I'll bonk his head. Give him long COVID, he can join Nemo. We'll give him cancer. He can die like his mom. This is so weird out of context. Traumatize Roman more, yeah. For the plot! Yes, just to clarify, for just anyone who is not aware to me and Space's shenanigans, we write stories where we constantly traumatize our characters because it's fun to do fictionally. I know that 1 2 is very aware of our shenanigans, but just in case there's anyone lurking in the background or watching the VOD later, just covering my bases, we are not talking about real people. We're talking about fictional little men in our head who deserve to be punished. But okay, I think it's time that I throw my phone, apparently. Okay? It's time. Let's talk about DragonCon. Go ahead and start. Okay. Alright. Let me find my notes for DragonCon. Talking points. Haha, I came prepared. I have talking points. So, I wrote this down just because I thought it was funny. So, um, we live in the South, where we're in the South of America, and we're driving to Georgia, right? So one thing, and anyone who's not from America or not from the South and might not know this, but sometimes, um, sometimes you'll be driving down the road and then you'll just see a Confederate flag. I am not joking. In the South, you will see Confederate flags. You can buy Confederate flags. Like you can go to like gas stations or like um tourist areas, and like in the South, you can find like keychains. Like if you could imagine like people selling or like selling American flags, it's like that, but it's the Confederate flag. And so um we were driving, we were listening to punk music, and as a joke, as a joke, I saw the Confederate flag and I flipped it off, with the right finger. And as a joke, I just thought it'd be really funny. They'd be like, "Ah, yes, the Confederate flag. Fuck you." And then, and then my friend also proceeded to flip the Confederate flag off. And then we just sat there as we drove by the flag, flipping it off. And I'm just like, I don't know why I thought it was so funny. We have to deal with, we live in the South. We deal with this flag constantly. So I just thought it was really funny that we just both agreed to be like, "Ah, yes, fuck you." And then kept driving. Yeah, I learned about that actually. I learned about how about the rules about the American flag, the how you're supposed to treat the American flag, and I realized that apparently because we're capitalism, um, we disrespect the flag on a daily basis. I think there's things about like rules where it's like the American flag um shouldn't be like wear as clothing or put on the floor, and then you look at the American flag doormats and the American flag t-shirts and you go, "Oh yeah. Do we care? No." We don't, because we're going to make money off of patriotism. Mm. So yeah, so that was the first thing to know just because I thought it was funny. America. Fuck yeah. So, moving on from the Confederate flag, we had a little bit of an oopsie boopsie. Um, when my friend's car broke down, we had just entered South Carolina. Um, Now you can drive without ads. Good job. Oh man, your streak ended. You're now only on 2 months. Hmm. Okay, so the car broke down, right? We just got into South Carolina, and my friend was like, and I didn't realize anything was really happening. Um, but then my friend goes like, "That's weird. This is weird. Something's wrong." um, and we were luckily right at the rest stop for South Carolina. And so my friend uh like went right into the rest stop and then stopped and was like, "Okay, that was weird. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit and then we're gonna try again." And I took that time to go like use the bathroom and whatnot. Um, we get back in the car, and uh, we okay. Welcome back. You missed the part. All you missed was me talking about how me and my friend flipped off the Confederate flag, and our car broke down. So we get back in the car, and we turn it on. It turns on. We back out of the parking space. We try to leave the parking lot, and then the car stops. It's not moving anymore. And what federal flag? No, the Confederate flag. Because we were in the South, and sometimes when you drive down the road, you just see the Confederate flag flying, not fly, but like waving in the wind. And so me and my friend flipped it off as we were driving by because I thought it was funny. Um, we managed somehow, honestly, I don't know how, but we managed with a hope and a prayer that I think we turned it on and turned it back on again. We're able to get it to move enough to get us back into a parking spot because otherwise we were just stuck in the middle of the parking lot on a narrow road, which would have made it really hard for other drivers to get out, and also because we were also stopped right behind a couple of the cars that were already parked. So it was like, oh, eventually those people probably want to move too. So we really can't just be sitting here. So we turned it off, we turned it back on, and managed to get into a parking spot. And then we stopped, and then we called our dads because we didn't know what to do. With the collective minds of two men who like one of them who really likes cars, we came to the conclusion that the transmission went out, which meant that the wheels would not turn. So we called a tow truck, figured out where we needed to go to drop off the car, and found a place to rent a car. And at first, we thought and big and this went on for a while, by the way. This like entire transaction took like an hour and a half. um Fun fact, it actually represents rebellion and not what most people are associated with, but like with many symbols, it now forever has a negative imprint permanently attached to it. Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't make a new flag for rebellion because you also have to associate the like, oh yeah, it means rebellion. Yeah, what were we rebelling back then? Trying to free the slaves. They were like, no, let's not do that. Here's our flag. We're gonna fly. Like, we're gonna be a new nation so we can keep our slaves. Yeah, no, I don't. I think if anyone like had a Confederate flag and said no, it means rebellion, I would just be like, make a new flag. The LGBT community pops out flags more than they pop out labels. You can make a new flag and say that this means rebellion. Why keep that one? Because it just makes you look like you're racist. We're not gonna we're not gonna get into a history lesson. Thank you for the fun fact. But we're just not going to go into that conversation right now. So the car breaks down. We call a tow truck. Find a rental place. Um, and at first, we were trying to figure out how we were going to get from the we were trying to figure out how we were going to get from the rental place and the car dealership that we were dropping off the car at. And we almost called an Uber, but our tow truck guy was actually very nice, and he was like, um, where's the rental place? And we were like, it's 2 miles down the road, and they was like, cool, I'll drop you off. So he goes to the dealership, drops off the car, and then he drives off to the rental car place, drops us off, and then we were able to pick up the car, drive back to the um, dealership because we had to go let them know that the car's there, and figure out what and stuff like that. And then after that, and like 2 hours, we were finally back on the road to continue to Georgia. So that all happened and was a very interesting experience. But we made it through. But God, were we tired by the time we got there. Uh, Especially my friend. My friend's nerves were shot. They just wanted to get into the apartment, and we were having a problem with the lock. There was a house lock on the doorknob. You know those like lock boxes. That's what it was. There was a lock box on the door that hold the key to the door. Why this person decided that they needed to have a lockbox for their room? This was a B&B, but it was a B&B inside of a hotel. Um, why they decided that they needed a lockbox, I don't know. We've tried to put in the combination, and we are just like, how does this thing open? Because we couldn't get it to open. We saw a little black latch, and we tried to push it down, wasn't going down. The thing wasn't opening. We start messaging the owner, being like, we can't get it open. Turns out gave us the wrong code. New code, it opens, we get the key. Fantastic. And that was basically the first day. um I think I took a shower that night. um and God, the room was cold, but it was actually really nice after all the walking we did on the other days, so I got over it. So that was all Tuesday, right? My memory is that was that Tuesday? No, that was Wednesday. That's right, because I went to the house on Tuesday to sleep over tonight to leave on Wednesday. Yes, that was on Wednesday. So Thursday, it's con time. Yay! Time to go to con. Didn't have any notes written down for that con. Went to some panels. The vendor hall wasn't open on Thursday. Apparently, it doesn't open until Friday. I don't know why, but that's just how they did it. So we couldn't really buy anything. Oh, Thursday, right? My God, the line to get your ticket. Not to get your ticket, but to pick up your badge, right? Because we had already bought our tickets like months before. So this was badge pickup. The line wrapped around the building, I think 2 to 3 times. It was nuts. And it was hot. Because of course it was hot. Saw a lot of interesting cosplays. Um, so that was fun. But yeah, no, it took it took probably an hour to just pick up our badge. So that happened Thursday. Didn't go to too many panels, I guess. If I go back to the app, will it tell me what my it might not tell me what my schedule is because it's over. Oh no, it's still here. Okay. Um oh, we did the newbie tour. Okay, so Dragon Con so before Dragon Con, the only other con that I've been to is Galaxy Con. And Galaxy Con is in one building. Dragon Con is like five buildings. Three of them are connected by something called a sky bridge, which essentially is a bridge in the air that connects you into these different hotels. Um, and so to say that we didn't know where anything was a little bit of an understatement. So we go on this newbie tour. So we get in a room, people can ask their questions about Dragon Con, get some advice, um, while we wait for our turn to go on the tour, where a person will go would take us around to all the different hotels and tell us where everything is and stuff like that. Very helpful, will admit, because I'm directionally challenged and have a very short term memory. I went on that tour knowing that I would not remember most of what that guy said, but he was he was dressed like the man from Jurassic Park. You know the guy who owns the old man who owns the park. I forget what his name is, which is funny because I had just watched Jurassic Park before going on this trip. So you think I remember what his name is. But yeah, he our tour guide was dressed as him, and I felt a little bad because people kept yelling or kept saying, "Ah, you paid no expense." Like you know that line that he says, he has a catchphrase where he's like, I paid no expense for things. Kind of just throwing his money out there. I mean, like, John Hammond, yes, thank you. Our tour guide was dressed as John Hammond, and and he looked pretty good. Mainly just because he was a white old man. Like it was not that hard to look like him. His cosplay is very easy to do when you happen to also be a 7-year-old man. I don't think he was 70, but you get the picture. Actually, oh no, ads. That's fine. I'll take this time to. I actually have a picture with him. Let me see if I can find it. Aha! I found it. Ooh. It's the it's the glare from the windows. It's reflecting the windows. I'm trying. How do I make the window not? You get the picture. I'm dumb. Let me put it in the Discord. Why am I trying to show you on screen? Let me just put it in the Discord. That makes a lot more sense. It's one of those days. Boop 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 boop. All right. The lady next to me is his wife. Just for context, that's who the other lady is. But yeah, welcome back. You didn't miss anything. You missed me attempting to try to show the picture, but getting hit with the glare of the window and then realizing that I have a Discord server. So I just posted the picture in Discord. That's all you missed. Though I think I might need to step away for a second just to be able to put my dinner away. I was correct in my statement of I cannot finish this. This is how much I have left. I have so much pasta. So this is pasta for another day. I will be back. Give me like 2 minutes to put pasta away. Probably should have done it while ads were going, but hindsight's 2020.
That. Excuse me, I'm ringing the bell. These villagers are gonna kill themselves. Subscribe to Tactile Blade! Subscribe! Keep doing that! Stop it! Stop it! Puzzle games. I think they're fun.
Okay, we're back. Also, I have drank 2 of these already. I've already hit my water goal of 64 ounces of water. I'm at 67 plus how much this is. So just letting you know, I did good for my water today. This is just extra. Okay, so now that that's out of the way. Oh, you know what? You know what I can also show you? This isn't con related, but I just wanted to eh, okay. I just want to show off my new desk mat. Sorry, I don't know how to work a camera. Essentially it's the Life series merch. So this is the Evo sign that I'm trying to show off. Here's the Evo sign, and then these are all the players. It's so cool. I love it so much. I just wanted to show it off. I'm going to be showing off a lot of things today. I'm so excited. I have an entire tote bag full of goodies. I can't wait to get to that part. We're going to get to that part at the end. Uh, which I think will be good because hopefully by then Space will be home and we'll actually be able to see everything. Space has seen a little bit of my goodies, but I have so much goodies. I have so many. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't put anything away because I wanted to show them off with you guys first, so I'm also excited for that as well. So, um, so yeah, nothing really eventful for Thursday. Not a lot for Friday. We did go to the vendor hall on Friday, um, but but right at the like end of the vendor hall. All right, thanks for stopping by. Um, we only had like an hour in the vendor hall before it closed, and it probably took us 45 minutes to get into the vendor hall. The line to the vendor hall is always long, no matter when you go. It just is. I think the shortest time I spent in line for the vendor hall was on Saturday, and that's because I skipped the parade. There's Dragon Con uh has a parade every year, which is a public event, which means it's the most busiest time. Um So everyone goes to see the parade, which is essentially a bunch of cosplayers walking down the road. It's really cool. I didn't watch it, obviously, because I was also told that that is the best time to go to the vendor hall because everyone else is going to the parade. So you have a good hour and a half where the vendor hall is not going to be that busy. And then once the parade is over, you want to get out of there because it's going to be the most busiest place to be because it's Saturday. And Saturday is the day that most people go to a convention because they don't have work. So we were told, don't go to the vendor hall on Saturday unless it's during the parade. And that's what I did because I like going to the vendor hall. And I decided that I didn't care enough about the parade to go see the parade. Um, so yeah. Uh, and even then, I got there early. I got there like an hour and a half before the vendor hall even opened, and it is. I don't know how long we waited because I didn't keep track, but maybe it was at least 30 minutes. I have to admit, I got in line pretty quickly, but even then, it was still like wrapped around the building and inside of a parking garage. um, Talked to a nice man while I was there, so that was nice. And we'll get over. I'll go over all the things that I bought later. But yeah, but we but we're not done with Saturday yet because Saturday was also my meltdown. Um, so something I have noticed over the years is that I'm getting more sensitive. I'm more sensitive to sounds. I'm more sensitive to crowds. My anxiety is through the roof. It's becoming a problem, but we'll get to that later. So, so I went to the vendor hall. It was very nice. I had to get out of the vendor hall around 2 p.m. because around 2 or like 2 or 1, it was starting to get really crowded. So I got out of Dodge. Um, and everything was fine until I went to a panel for neurodivergent writers, which you don't think would be a bad thing. And it wasn't. It was a very lovely panel. My problem was that there was 3 people sitting behind me and they were talking very loudly. They're not even trying to talk to other people in the like across the room. I mean, they're talking to each other and they're all sitting right next to each other and they're all screaming. To me it felt like they were screaming, but that's also because I was right in front of them. Um and so I had brought my noise canceling headphones. Welcome. Good job. You got home safely. We don't have to murder Remus. Um, so so that's where I would say the start of my problems was that the people behind me were talking way too loud for a panel about neurodivergent people. You would think that they would be quieter, but no, I think they were probably ADHD and had to speak very loudly. I got so many goodies. Also, when you went gremlin voice, I got so many goodies. I started dying laughing. I'm glad. I'm glad my I don't even know what to call it. Voice. I'm glad my voice brings you joy. Um, so I put on my noise canceling headphones, and that worked. Like it worked. You're glad you killed me? I'm glad that it brought you joy. You know, if you're gonna die, might as well die laughing. You can put it on your tombstone. It was a jolly death. So, uh, but then, so here was the thing, right? Right after the neurodivergent panel, write it in your will. Duh. Put it. You have to have instructions, right? When I die, put on my tombstone. um. So right after the my panel was a panel that me and my friend were going to go to, called that was an orchestra. Essentially, it was an orchestra playing music from different movies, and we both wanted to go. My friend went early to try to save us some seats. That was a common thing we did in GalaxyCon. One of us would go and go to an event early to save seats. My friend then warned me, you should probably leave your event early because of how long the line is. And thinking about, like, maybe you won't be able to find me once the show starts, right? So I was like, okay. I didn't want to leave my event because I was very interested in what the people at the panel were saying, and I wanted to ask more questions, but I was like, okay, they're probably right. I should go to my I should get to the orchestra, right? So I leave the panel, I go to the orchestra, and there's a line. And of course there's a line. There's always lines. The, the these lines are almost as long as Disney World lines. Like, you if you're going to an event, especially a popular event, expect a line. The vendor hall, line. Badge picked up, line. Any like big event, line. Expect it, right? So I go to the front and I'm like, hey, my friend's inside, they're saving me a seat. And they go, you need to go to the back of the line. And I went, cool. So I start to try to find the back of the line. I go outside the building. The line is outside the building. That also happens a lot. A lot of the lines will start in the building and then go outside the building, and then they will wrap around the building multiple times. So I'm trying to follow this line, and I will admit there was a point in me trying to find the end of the line where I said, I'm probably far enough away. I could just join the line here. Like, I was very much cutting the line is what I was attempting to do because my friend was already in there. And so I just wanted to get to my friend. So, and I was getting overstimulated. So I just wanted to get inside already. And I got confronted by a guy who was very snarky. And in hindsight, I don't blame him, but it did not help my mental state, where essentially he essentially called me out for cutting the line, which, fair enough, I was cutting the line. Like, he was in the right to be a little snarky with me when he realized what I was trying to do. um so, and because I do not like conversation and didn't really have a dispute against the fact that I was blatantly trying to cut the line, I just kept on going to try to get to the end of this line. And at this point, I'm starting to get a little choke up. I'm starting to have my meltdown because I'm like, I just want to get to the place. I just want because I was upset that I was because I was upset that I was missing the panel that I was already at, and I'm up and I'm upset that they wouldn't just let me in with my friend, which again, in hindsight, makes a lot of sense. They have to be a little strict with the rules because then anyone could say, "Hey, my friend's already inside." Do I expect everyone is lying to try to get inside and cut the line? No. And I took it a little bit personally because I know that I wasn't lying, but I can't expect them to know that I'm not lying. So, in hindsight, they were just doing their job. In the moment, I was having a meltdown. So I find a person who is trying to, like, control the line, keep it moving, let people, like, figure out, like, kind of just monitoring the line and making sure everything's working. And he looks at me and he goes, where are you trying to go? Because we're on the road, not the road, but we're on the streets, right? And it's getting really crowded. It gets really crowded at stoplights, because people are constantly trying to cross the road and whatnot. So he looks at me and he goes, "Where are you trying to go?" And I was like, "I have to get to the back of this line." And he looks at me and he looks at this line and he looks back at me and he goes, "Yeah, you're not getting in." And I'm like, "My friend is saving me a seat." And he goes, "They can't do that. That's not allowed. And this line is going to get cut off." Like he's looking at his line and he's saying like, not everyone in this line is going to get into this like panel, right? That not everyone here is actually going to get into the orchestra. And certainly not me. And at this point, I just go, "Okay." And I start walking back to the hotel. Um, and I start crying. I couldn't take it anymore. I was overstimulated. I was upset that I was missing my panel. I was upset I couldn't get into this panel. And also, there was one key to our apartment, to our B&B. And guess who had the key? My friend, who's now in a location that I can't get into, which means I can't get away, which means I can't go anywhere. So I started feeling a little trapped. I went back to my panel because it wasn't over yet, but it was basically over. Um, but I sat at the end for the end of that panel, but then I was just like, I have nowhere to go, and I'm still crying. Like I am actively crying, right? And I'm just like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do in this situation. Um, and we were told on Thursday, we were told about the like second floor, which was a floor where people could go to kind of like relax a little bit. The safety office was there in case you didn't feel safe or if you were injured or something. And I was like, I have nowhere else to go. So, because there wasn't any other panels I wanted to go to, I was like, I either want to go to the orchestra or I want to go back to my apartment, and I can't do either. So I go up and I go to the safety. And again, I am crying. I'm not bawling my eyes out because I'm doing that thing where I am trying not to cry or make a scene. So I'm crying, but it's not very obvious that I'm crying. Also, because I'm a little sensitive to light, or just because I'm trying to lower the amount of senses that get overwhelmed, I was wearing these the entire time. Like, I just didn't wear my regular glasses. I was only wearing these sunglasses. And in hindsight, I should not have been surprised that no one was noticing that I was crying, because I'm wearing sunglasses. You can't see my eyes, and all you could probably see was just tears coming down my face, but I was also moving, right? I wasn't standing still. I was trying to get to whatever I was trying to get to. So I can't be upset that no one was noticing that I was a crying I almost said crying child. I'm 26. But God, did I just feel like a crying child. Um so I get to the safety office, and they let me sit down. They give me some water. A medical guy comes in to be like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" And I explained that I couldn't get to this event that my friend is at, and I can't go back to the UB because they have the key. Um, and they were like, "Okay, are you physically hurt?" "No." "Cool." And then he left. I'm still crying because I'm still upset. I He was definitely there in case of physical emergencies. Because old boy, did he not know how to handle an emotional emergency. Um, so I sat there, and I sat there long enough to decide that this was not working, and I did not feel safe, and I got up and I left because I'm still having a meltdown, and I'm like, I want to cry very loudly, but I can't because there's too many people around. So my new goal was find somewhere that doesn't have people. That was impossible because all of the rooms are being used all of the times. So I'm running around this hotel trying in desperate hope to find a panel room that's not currently being used so I can sit in it and cry. That was my new goal. um I was not finding a lot of luck. I eventually, because I guess maybe I looked desperate and lost enough, one of the volunteers was like, "Hey, where are you trying to go?" Because it's a big place. People get lost all the time. It is very so it's not uncommon to see someone just not know where to go. But I'm hysterical. So I just go and it becomes very clear that I am extremely upset. And he goes, "Oh." And then he calls someone else over because apparently he has decided that he is not prepared for this situation. So he calls over to this person, and I don't know what her name was. I think it was Jen or something. And Jen comes in and she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she pulls me into this ballroom that's being prepared for an event that's happening later in the night. So I technically did find a place that was not that did find a place that wasn't currently being used. Um, and she was like, "Okay, we're gonna sit down. I'm gonna get you some water." Um, and she comes back with like not she didn't come back with water. She came back with two of her friends, like other volunteers, and it was just like, "Hey, I really trust these people. You're gonna be in good hands with them." Um, and so they pull me deeper into the ballroom. I get to sit up with all the computers and was told like don't touch anything. And I was like, that's totally fine. I'm not here to cause problems. I just want to cry. I explained to what happened, which was essentially that uh, my friend is in the orchestra. I can't get into the orchestra. I can't go home because I don't have the key, and I'm very upset because of it. And because I was also overstimulated, right? So I was all sorts of done. Um, I get some water. He was a lot more better. He was a lot better at calming me down and stuff. Like he let me hold his hands, and I squeezed his hands really hard, just because it's just one of those days where you gotta really squeeze someone's hands. He was like, "Wow, you have a really strong grip." um, um, he shared that he was also neurodivergent, which just made me feel a little bit better because it made me feel more seen. And then another guy comes in, and we explained to him what happened. Was like I can't get into the orchestra, and he goes, "That's my event. I'll get you in." And they're like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll get her in." So he essentially leads me. He leads me back to the orchestra, and there's a person at the door being like, doing his door duties, and it's just like, were you already inside before? And he goes, "It's my event." And he's like, "Oh, okay." That's all he had to say. He was like, "It's my event." And then he got me inside and said, "Good luck finding a seat." And then he left. And so I found the first seat I could that wasn't taken, which happened to be on the end cap. Um, not an end cap, but at the like it'd be a it'd be like the end row. And I sat down, still crying. By the way, I haven't stopped crying. Probably for 45 minutes. uh, didn't know where my friend was, but my friend was somewhere in this room. And by the time I got in there, they were playing um Howl's Moving Castle, I believe is what they were playing when I came in. And it turns out later I found out that like I only missed like two, maybe three songs of the performance. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm sitting next to all these skater bros because it was like six. That's how you know you were well hydrated. All my weeks of hydration just poured out of my eyes. Um, but because everyone kept handing me water, I realized probably like 5 minutes later, God, I have to use the bathroom. And I was like, I am not leaving this room because I was not sure that if I left the room, they would let me back in. So I decided to hold it, right? It, and like I have a strong bladder when it wants to be strong. I can hold this. So I hold it for an hour and a half. And I keep checking the time to be like, because it's supposed to end at 9:30, right? So I keep checking the time. I'm like, okay, it's gonna end at 9:30. It's gonna end at 9:30, and I kept checking the time. And eventually, we were like, okay, it's about to be 9:30. They're playing Back to the Future. This must be the last song, which means there's gonna be like a mad dash and a lot of people at the bathrooms and stuff. So it made sense in my mind to kind of like try to leave, slip out right at the end, right? Um, so I'm like, okay. So I get up and I walk to the doors and I stay at the doors and I wait for Back to the Future to be done. And then it's like, okay, it's done. Let's go. Went to the bathroom, came back and realized that the orchestra is still going. And I'm confused. And I'm like, can I go back in? And they go, no, because they're in the middle of a song and you can't go in while they are performing. Okay, song ends. Um, and they're like, okay, the door opens. I walk in. I see that people are leaving. I walk back out because I think it's over now, and I'm now waiting for my friend to come out. I realize not enough people have left that ballroom, and they start playing music again, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And I guess I stood there awkwardly enough that eventually the door people, um, the door people finally just let me back in. They're like, just let her back in. So I get back in for like probably the last 30 seconds of Star Wars, and then it was actually over. And then I stood there on a chair, so I wasn't in anyone's way, and tried to see if I could find my friend because I still didn't know where they were. And I was like, where are they? um, and uh, so I stayed in that ballroom until it's practically emptied and go like, okay, they're not here anymore. And then I leave the ballroom, and I did find them, and I had messaged them to let them know that I was going straight to the bathroom afterwards. So they find me and they go, "Did you go to the bathroom?" And honestly, I was like, I kind of need to use the bathroom again, but now it is way too crowded, and I just want to go home. It was at that point where I was just like, I just want to go home. So so we leave, and they ask me like, okay, so what do you want to do now? And I was like, generally, I want to go back to the apartment. And they were kind of upset about that. They were like, but I kind of put my foot down on it. I It was not that big of a deal. It was just more of a matter of um my friend does not trust me to walk the streets of Los Angeles by myself at night. And I do not blame them, especially when I get lost easily. And I was very emotionally distraught. So I do not blame them for being like, yeah, I wasn't going to just let you leave by yourself. So, but the reason why the friend was a little upset was because the friend wanted to go to a party afterwards. But it didn't matter. We started walking back to the apartment, and I start crying again because now we're outside, and I still have my headphones on. I had my headphones on for like the entire time, um, but I was still just overstimulated, was getting stressed by the crowds, and I started crying again. And my friend goes, "What do you need?" And I tried to say I just want to go to the apartment, but I guess I kind of mumbled it, because they were like, what? And so then I just screamed, I want to go to the apartment. And they're like, okay, okay. Like I was done. I was done. I just wanted to go back to the apartment. I didn't want anything else. I just wanted to go to the apartment so I could cry. That's all I wanted. Um So we walk back to the apartment. Um, we get inside, and I fall onto the couch, and I'm just crying. I'm just like I'm just done. I'm just like I was so done. Um, a friend decided to make themselves some dinner. I took a shower because I thought, okay, maybe I could cry in the shower. As pathetic as that sounds, I was like, maybe I could just cry in the shower. I might have scolded myself a little bit in the shower. That's fine. You know, every once in a while, you just need to scold yourself. And I needed a shower anyway, so I took a shower. Um, Stopped crying. Uh, and then friend decided that they no longer wanted to go to a party. Um, and I was like, cool. I want comfort mac and cheese. I bought a box of mac and cheese for the B&B. Um, and so I made some mac and cheese, and we sat on the couch. We talked about the events. Sam shared an event that they went to the day before, and I felt better afterwards. Um, I I at no point was upset at my friend for what happened. It made sense for my friend to hold the key. Um, it made sense. We didn't expect at any point where one of us would want to go to the apartment by themselves. Uh, and again, neither one of us really trust me to be able to get to the B&B by themselves. And even if I had the key, I needed a passcode to open the door to the building that I didn't have because it was a barcode on my friend's phone. So there was multiple reasons for why I wouldn't have been able to get into the apartment by myself. Um, we did make a note that next year we should probably try to get one of the conventions hotels, because that would make it a lot more easier if one of us needed to go back to the apartment without the other. Um, and they probably would have been able to give us more than one key. So that's just a note for next time. So yeah, that was Saturday. That was Saturday. I don't blame the workers. I don't blame the goers. Like I said, it made sense why that guy was a little snippy with me. I would probably also be a little miffed if someone tried to cut the line that they had been waiting in for like who knows how long. Um, it was just a very stressful situation. um, Sunday, I did a lot better. I think on Sunday, I uh I don't have any notes for Sunday, so I imagine nothing really productive happened on Sunday. Let me check. Did I go to any events on Sunday? No, 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 that's on. Yes, yes, Sunday. I think Sunday was probably a heavy. I think Sunday was a heavy vendor holiday. Oh yeah, and then we did the masquerade. Right, the masquerade was on Sunday. That was fun. Well, no, it was fun. Oh, that's right, my knees. That's what it was. So Um, so the masquerade was a combination of a costume contest and also cosplay performance. And in GalaxyCon, those are two different events. They call it the masquerade, which is the contest for just cosplays, and then I think it's called the runway. I might have gotten those mixed up. Anyway, in GalaxyCon, it's different events for a cosplay contest and then a cosplay performance. In DragonCon, I guess they just made them one event because there were some people who came in and just showed off their costume and then they left, and then there was others who were doing full on performances. So they kind of just made kind of just combined them together. It was 3 hours long, which was totally fine, except for the fact that my knees were killing me. And I have to think that I think it was just because I was sitting for too long. I almost had a breakdown before the masquerade just because we were hungry. We were because because of just how it played out, we didn't get lunch that day. So we had like so I eat like a small breakfast, and then we would usually have lunch, and then we would have dinner after we got back to the B&B. But we had skipped the lunch part because we didn't go back to the B&B for lunch. So that meant I had a small dinner, I had a small breakfast, and then we didn't eat again until like 7. Um which required us to figure out where the food court was again to get our food, to then get in the line for the masquerade because I had decided at that point, no more splitting up. We are going in this event together because we almost got separated um during the D&D panel. So my friend is really into Boulder Gates 3. And so there was multiple Boulder Gates panels. One of the panels was the cast of Boulder Gate doing a little one shot, which was very cute and very adorable. But it was also one of those events where you wanted to get there early, and we got separated in the line because I thought I was in line, and then I was like, I was in the like line to get in line, um, and I thought I was like yeah, this would be a good place. No, my friend got ahead of me. I did get into the building this time. I was not that far. I was not that distant. So I got into the building, but then I was once again telling people, my friends up ahead, they're saving me a seat, and once again they're telling me they can't do that. And so I sit down, and there's a person like coming in, and I ask them, I have a friend up in the front row saving me a seat. Can I go see if that's actually still there? And if it's not, can I come back here? And they go, yeah, sure, go ahead and check. So I do, and the seat was still there, so I got to sit next to my friend. But after that, I said, we are no longer splitting up. So for the masquerade, we stuck together. Um, which was good. But it also meant that we were rushing from buying food to then getting into line, which was still outside. We were still outside. Waited. We sat in that line for an hour before the event started. Um, so, but I almost started crying again because I was like, I just want to eat food. That's all I wanted to do. Was just I just want to eat. And we got into line, we sat down, and then the person monitoring the line was like, all right guys, we really need you to scoot up together, which meant that I had to sit back up. I had to get back up to move closer. um and I stood there because I was like, I didn't know if she was going to try to move us again. And I'm sitting there with my like takeout box of Asian food. It was like some sushi and some like other Asian related foods. It was good. It was good, by the way. But I was sitting there holding it, and I'm like, and she's talking about how like I'm very tired. You know, it's getting to that point in the con where all the uh volunteers are very tired and delirious, and I'm like, I'm about to start crying on you if I don't get to eat. So she walks off, and I didn't say that to her. I just thought that, but she walks off to go keep, I don't know, doing whatever she was supposed to be doing. And I sat back down, and I'm trying to eat. This was one of the days where I was wearing cosplay. I was dressed up as President Mike, and President Mike has a blonde wig, and I tried to eat, and I got a mouthful of hair. So I had to pull the hair out of my mouth. And I got so frustrated. I pulled the wig off and I slapped it back into my bag because I was like, I just want to eat. I just want to eat. I don't want to deal with hair in my mouth. So, so I pulled it off and I threw it back in my bag. I was done. We didn't pin the wig to the wig cap because my friend wanted to make sure that I had the ability to quickly take off the wig if I was getting overstimulated. Because wearing a wig can be very overstimulating. It's a lot of pressure on your head. Um, so it was very great. So I was very grateful that we didn't pin it down, so I could flip it off. Just be like, get out of my fucking way, so I can eat my goddamn sushi. I felt a lot better after I was able to eat, and we talked to some lovely people in the line. Line buddies. Sometimes you make some line friends. Um, so so, but I sat on my butt on the road, not on the road, on the street for an hour, and then we got up, and then we walked inside, and then I sat down for another 3 hours, and my knees hurt like a bitch, and I don't know why. I don't know why it hurt so much, but they were just so sore, and I was just like, I'm trying to like stretch my legs, but I'm also trying not to kick the chairs in front of me because I know I would hate it if someone was kicking my chair repeatedly. So I was trying to really hard to not accidentally hit the chairs in front of me, and I'm just trying to stretch out my knees, and I was in so much pain, but I was like, there's nothing I can do. I want to watch this event. So I just bared with it. I think what I needed was just kind of stand up and walk around, but I was like, I'm not doing that in the middle of this competition. I will look very weird. So, and I was not leaving this building. I was not leaving that ballroom because I didn't know if they would let me back in if I left. So I was like, nope, we're just gonna sit here and we're gonna bear it. And oh boy, did I bear it! I bared it for so long. I bared it for 3 hours. The other problem with the masquerade was the noise, right? Okay, I have my headphones. Except that I realized that the noise canceling function of the headphones does not like bass, apparently. Because, like, with sometimes there would be a performance, and sometimes there would be a really heavy bass in this that's coming out of the speakers. And that would then become static into my ears. Like, and to the point where literally I would pull the headphones off because listening to the full volume was better than the freaking spacey static that was coming out of my Bec- headphones. So I was like, oh, note to self, they are not good when trying to deal with bass. Got it. Good to know. But besides that, it was very fun. I enjoyed watching it. I liked that there was a kids section and an adult section basically, and I liked it that they did the kids section. And then at the end of the kids section, they did the reward ceremony for the kids. At GalaxyCon, there's a kids section, right? They called it like the juniors. The juniors go first, and then everyone else goes. Um, and then at the very end, they do the reward ceremony. Um, which is totally fine. But I liked that it's like, oh, okay, because now I remember what all of the people were. So yeah, the masquerade was fun. And then there was Monday. Um, I wish I could tell you what I did, what I did at Dragon Con on Monday, except I can't because I didn't go to Dragon Con on Monday. No, no. Instead, I spent 4 hours in the hospital. I'm so mad about it. So let's yeah, so I went to the hospital. I think what probably happened was that my body was just done. 5 days of calm was a day too many. Because what happened, right, is that we woke up. I woke up at 7, and my body said, "No, no, we're not getting up. No, that's not happening. Nah, 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 not happening. No." And I laid in bed for probably another hour, and then I finally got up because we have to get up. We have things to do. We have panels to go to. We need to go back to the vendor hall. Um, and so I get up, and I'm like so weak. I get up. I'm twitchy like all heck. Um, well, it didn't start yet. I managed to make it to the living room. And like I grabbed like a little bit of a snack for breakfast, like I usually do, and then I sat on the couch. And my friend is getting ready. They're getting into cosplay for the day, and um, and then I start twitching. This is not new. It's not new to me. It's not new to you guys. Sometimes I twitch. Usually, when I'm anxious or overstimulated, I twitch. And the twitching usually looks like a little bit of a head twitching, little head shaking. Sometimes it's little shoulder jerks, maybe some leg jerks. You jerk around a little bit. Um, so that was happening. And I was like, okay, whatever, this happens. It's gonna stop eventually. It wasn't stopping. No, in fact, at one point, my head was shaking so violently, I had thrown myself off the couch, and then I was on the floor. I was face down on the floor. I had. Be, Now, granted, it didn't hurt. I had caught myself on my knees and my hands before those collapsed. But I had essentially, and I wasn't that off the ground, right? But I essentially just like was like I was having a moment where it was, I'm going a little bit slower because I don't like rattling my head. But if it gets too bad, I will literally go complete side to side with my head. Like it gets that bad sometimes. And I had been doing this very fast and very aggressively, remind you, so hard that I had basically, and because I get dizzy, that's the other thing. I get dizzy if that goes on for too long. So I had gotten dizzy and had basically just yeeted myself off the couch. I had basically yeeted myself off the couch and I faced and then I fell on the floor. And I was like, cool, great, I'm on the floor now. I would like to not be on the floor. I could not get off the floor. I could not get off the floor for the life of me. I had like I had gotten my hands into like a push-up position, right? I had gotten my hands into push-up position, but it felt like I had already done 100 push-ups because I could not pull myself up. I was trying to push myself up and it was not working. I was not getting up.
I forgot to
Just
drink
a
water.
reminder to drink. Oh, I didn't have a
One
cap on it.
underscore TW0N played Tell the Bear to drink for 1000 channel points.
Thank you. Um so so I was stuck on the floor. I have no idea how long I was stuck on the floor. I didn't have my phone on me. I had no sense of time. But it felt like a very long time that I was stuck on the floor. And I had also went nonverbal because that's usually the first thing that happens. I go nonverbal before I start twitching. Um and so I would sometimes hear my friend in the background just kind of walking around. Um I try my best to make any sort of noise to try to get my friend's attention because I'm stuck on the floor, and that probably sounded something like this. mm, just kind of just whining. I'm just whining because that was the only sound I could make. And it takes a lot of effort to make that noise. It takes so much effort to try to even get that far. So I was trying my hardest here to get my friend's attention. It was not working. I think they had headphones on or something because they informed me later that they did not hear me. Um and again, we're not going to blame my friend for this uh because apparently when my friends saw me on the floor, they went, "Oh, she's just having floor time." Because sometimes my friend has floor time. And so she was just like, "Okay, she's just having floor time. Good to know." And just kept on going. I do not blame my friend whatsoever. Um there was a lot of miscommunication because I couldn't communicate. And this was a very new experience for the both of us. So I don't blame them for thinking that I was just having floor time. Apparently, I did eventually will enough strength to get me to sit back up. And so then I was sitting on the floor, wasn't getting my legs working yet, but I had managed to get myself to sit up and like lean against the couch, right? And then I sat there and I was like, okay, cool. I've sat up now. And then I started jerking again. And I had jerked myself so hard that I fell back over. So now I was on my side on the floor, a little bit better. Um I would eventually get myself back onto the couch. But then I had jerked myself so hard again that I had luckily leaned where I was still on the couch, but now I was leaning on the couch like if this was the you can barely see it, but if this was like the edge of the couch, I was basically leaning like this. And honestly, my hair was in my face too. So my friend couldn't see me very well, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, but I looked like this. So when my friend came back into the living room and saw me on the couch, they went, "Oh, okay. She did say that she was a little tired, so I guess she's just resting right now." I haven't gotten dressed, by the way. I'm still in my pajamas. so so they were just like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, she's just a little tired. That's fair." Um but I was stuck like this now. I was like, which was honestly the best position to be stuck in. It was the most comfortable, I'll tell you that. eventually, eventually, maybe an hour later, this has been going on for like an hour or two, um, I managed to finally get myself onto my feet, and then I walk myself to the bedroom, and and then my friend finally gets to look at me and go, "Are you okay?" And then I face planted the bed. I, I, I think I managed to shake my head no, and then I face planted the bed. I fell onto the bed, and it took several more minutes of just confusion. I eventually got my phone, right, because my phone was in the bedroom. So I finally got to my phone, which meant I could finally communicate because in most cases my hands still work. Which means I can do things like do simple sign, or I can text on my on my phone. Simple sign only works if the person you're trying to communicate with also knows sign, which my friend did not. So that was not as helpful in this situation. But I can text my friend. Though I will say, texting was a little bit harder to do this time because when I say that I was having full body jerks, I mean literally every limb would have some type of spasm. One time I was trying to type and my hands wouldn't stop vibrating or shaking. You try typing like this. You try trying to do a you try doing this. It was so it was so hard. But we been I so it came to a point we were like, maybe do we call a doctor? And part of me was just like, no, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to go to the hospital. That's gonna cost so much money. And I know what was happening. I'm like, this is not normal. This is not new, but it also wasn't normal because because it never lasts this long before. Like, this is usually not this big of a problem. If I go for a minute, for like 15 seconds, that's fine. This is fine. I can live with this. I get a little dizzy, so it sucks if I need to like get up afterwards, but like, this is fine. This is usually what happens. This is not a problem. This was not what was happening. I couldn't get up. Every time I got up, because sometimes I had to use the bathroom, every time I got up, I kept smacking into the wall because I was having a hard time holding my balance. I had to will my legs to move, and I was constantly terrified that I was going to fall over. Luckily, the bathroom was not that far away. This was a very small apartment. Nothing was far away. Um, but yeah, so we we eventually decided that this was going on for way too long, and so it was probably time to call the doctor. And I guess a part of me was hoping that if I went to the hospital, they could give me more insight about what was happening. I thought that maybe, because this isn't the first time I saw a doctor about this. The first time was a couple of years ago that I think I did shared it on stream about how I was like, yeah, I went to neurologist and learned that I just have tics. So like, that's what's happening. There was nothing anyone could do about it. You can't cure tics. Um, you just kind of learn to live with it, and I was learning how to live with it, and then this happened for 2 hours, and I was not living with it. um, so first my friend called their mom, and then apparently, because this was very funny, apparently they the only sentence they got out was, yeah, I think that Nunya just started twitching. And then their mom goes, call 911, and then hangs up. I think what they thought was happening was that I was having a seizure, because that's what the paramedics and the doctors were concerned about. They were concerned that I was about to have a seizure when I did get there. So it was not an unjustified response to hearing that someone is twitching uncontrollably to go, oh, they're having a seizure, you need to call 911, and then immediately hung up the phone. So my friend my friend calls 911, lets them know that, hey, yeah, my friend is twitching uncontrollably. She is nonverbal, uh and the paramedics get here, I don't know, like maybe 20 minutes later. uh they check my blood sugar. I was apparently borderline low. It was 60, so they gave me a little sugar gel that's supposed to boost up your potassium. I had they poked me 3 times. I've lost 2 of the band-aids, but I still have one of them on because it's just kind of stuck. Um, so yeah, look, my little band-aid for the 3 times they've poked me to check my blood sugar. So uh so they checked me out. They didn't see anything like too wrong, like besides the fact that I was nonverbal and I was also twitching um uncontrollably. So they were like, okay. They had decided that they didn't feel comfortable leaving me alone with my friend because my friend did not know what to do in this situation. And so they advised that we should probably go to the hospital to make sure that you're okay. And I decided, like, okay, because again, I was hoping that maybe they'll tell me something new. Um, so I was like, okay, yeah, to let's go to the hospital. And oh boy, I'm s- I'm so glad I wasn't having an actual emergency, because we waited for the elevator. We're on the 7th floor, by the way, but we waited for the elevator for probably 20 minutes at least. I guess it was because today was just a day where a lot of people were checking out or something, because I have never seen the elevator be this slow than it was that day. Um like it came to a point that when the elevator, because this place has 3 elevators. One of them is broken. One of them doesn't work at all. Um Space is spacing, also known as alive. Good job. We got to the we're at the hospital visit. So you haven't missed the goodies yet. But we're at the hospital visit. So we had to wait for this elevator, right? Because there's 3 elevators. One of them is broken. The other one doesn't fit the stretcher, right? Because they had to strap me down to the stretcher. Um Probably because we none of us were confident that I would actually be able to walk. So they put me on a stretcher. And then we were sitting there in the hallway waiting for the one elevator that could actually fit the stretcher. Oh, you didn't. Yeah, so my friend did. So a quick recap. I was twitching uncontrollably for 2 hours. I was nonverbal twitching and was just having a very hard time controlling my body. Like, there was one point where I was stuck on the floor for like 45 minutes. um just unable to get up. It became to a point where both of us were getting really concerned because it was unusual. Um, so first my friend calls their mom and says Nanya is twitching uncontrollably, and then their mom goes call 911 and then hung up the phone. Probably because their mom thought that I was having a seizure. Understandable, understandable reasonably. So that's how 911 got called, and then the paramedics came. So they checked me out, took my vitals, checked my blood sugar, um gave me a sugar packet because apparently I was at 60. And I don't think that was that unusual. I It had been 13 hours. We calculated it later. It had been 13 hours since the last time I ate. So me and my friend decided, like, later after the situation was over, that me having a blood sugar of 60 wasn't that bad, because my glucose was completely fine after they checked my glucose. um and I'll explain why the blood sugar is important later. But yeah, they poked me 3 times, and I was only borderline dangerous the first time when they poked me at in the morning when I hadn't eaten anything. So I'm not too concerned about my blood sugar. But at the time it was at 60, and apparently low blood sugar could equate to twitching or shakiness. Um, so that's why they kept checking. Um, but yeah, we waited in that hallway for um for like 20, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. I couldn't exactly check the time. I was strapped I was strapped to a I was strapped to a stretcher. And God, was it embarrassing. So while we're waiting for this elevator that's taking God forever, um a man walks up to me and says, I hope you get through this. And he's just standing there. Like, I'm like, my dude, please just leave me alone. and like he walks to, I guess, his room, and he has the door open, and he's just standing halfway into the door, and he's still watching me. And I'm like, it's one thing that, like, oh, you're a little concerned. It's another where you're like, my dude, please just leave me alone. You don't know me. Thank you for the hopes and prayers. Please leave me alone. Apparently, he was a very much a little bit of a creep, because he was also being a little bit of a creep to my friend later, to the point that my friend took the stairs to avoid interacting with him. So he was a little weird. He was a little bit of a weird guy. But I felt so embarrassed. I was just like, my dude, I'm stuck to a. Can you just leave me alone? Can you just leave me alone, please? And I can't communicate, so I just start twitching at him. I just start twitching at him. I'm just like, please leave. We finally the door opens, right? And it's like an elevator full of people. And at that point, the paramedics were so tired of waiting for this elevator that he said, medical emergency, get out. They were like, we need everyone out of there. It's a medical emergency. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I'm just like, oh, God, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. But we finally get down. We go to the hospital. They check me in. They take my information. I pee in a cup. It takes an hour. It took an hour to get into a room, and then like another hour before I saw a doctor, and then we talked to the doctor, right? Also at this point, my mom has been informed that I'm at the hospital, and so she calls me to be like, "Why are you at the hospital? What's going on?" I explained to her that I was just kind of twitching uncontrollably. She gets really focused on my blood sugar. We'll get to that in a minute. And I had basically been waiting for the doctor for so long, I went nonverbal again. Literally, I had to use the bathroom again. I needed to pee. I had no way of contacting people. Like, I even messaged Space, because I decided to keep Space into the loop. And Space was like, "Oh, you should have like a button, right? You should have a button to be able to call help." And I looked around that bed, and I was like, "There's no goddamn button here." I I was like, I do not have a button here, and I had went nonverbal. It came to a point where I pulled out my phone, went into Google Translate, right, and then I just started doing this.
Help! 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 Help!
Over and over again. That was the point. That's where I was. That's what because I was like, I just want to use the bathroom, but I couldn't speak. And so I kept hearing people outside the room. I couldn't see outside the room because there was a curtain in the way. And so I thought surely someone might be able to hear a robotic help, 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 and come into the room. That didn't work. As a long story short, that did not work. But eventually, the neurologist came in. But I was nonverbal, so I was using Google Translate to communicate with the neurologist. And then my mom called. My mom called back, and I had managed to force out enough words to tell my mom, "Here, doctor." Like I had the forced words out of my mouth. Sorry. Um, and but once the doctor was like, "Yeah, I'm here," I just let mom talk to the doctor. Mom is usually my medical advisor, essentially. It's just like if there's a medical problem, I'm usually calling mom, and mom usually talks to the doctor, and I kind of just sit there. That's kind of our dynamic, a little bit. Mom knows all of my medical history, so it makes it very easy. So mom explained the situation. She was like, "Yeah, Nanya is always my worry child." So she's like, "Yeah, sometimes Nanya just gets a little worked up sometimes." Uh, yeah, yeah. Sometimes that happens, but I just kind of redirect her, and that usually works. This woman refuses to believe that I have ADHD, autism, anxiety, and depression. But she will also admit that I'm a wordy word that easily gets stressed. I love my mom, but sometimes I want to smack her. So the bottom line was that the neurologist confirmed, said that there was no test done, by the way, but she was like, okay, based off this conversation, I don't believe this is seizure related, which was her main thing, was that everyone thought that I was about to have a seizure. That was their main concern. She had cited that that is not what's going to be happening here. She told me that it sounds like you have untreated anxiety and depression, and you should probably go get that checked out. Um, she was like, "All right, we're gonna discharge you. Good luck." And then she left. And then I remembered I still haven't gotten to use the bathroom. And I sat in that room for another hour. Yeah, that was my main thing. Was just I thought that maybe if I went to the hospital, they would be able to tell me um why this was happening. And they went, "Yeah, you should go see a neurologist, psychiatrist, and a therapist." So yeah, we're back to oh, she's got anxiety. To the reason why I am twitching uncontrollably and sometimes go nonverbal and sometimes can't control my body. I got anxiety, guys. um, whoop, close up. Mm. So, yeah, at some point, I probably do need to get all that set up, but I just haven't had time or money for that. Mm. Um, but yeah, so I wait another hour. Eventually, my nurse comes back, or not even my nurse. Another nurse comes in because apparently my nurse was on lunch. Um, comes to like hand me my test results because they did do blood work. Um, everything was fine. My glucose was fine. The only things that anything that said that it was high was just the symptoms just being you need more B12. And I went okay. That was the only note about my blood work was that you should get some more B12 in your system. I'm like okay. Um. So right? So I finally was able to be like, hey, by the way, I need to use the bathroom. And she's like, oh, okay. You're able to walk, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. so so she unattaches me because I was also attached to wires for the doohickey thing that beeps. So she unattaches me so I can go use the bathroom. Thank God. Um, and then I go back to my room, and then I realize I go back to my room. My mom calls me again. I let her know that like I've been discharged. They gave me a piece of paper for an Uber. Because my friend had decided that they were not comfortable driving in Atlanta on Labor Day. That was the reason they didn't feel comfortable driving in Atlanta on Labor Day because it was a holiday. I want to put it in a note that when the Uber drove me 5 minutes back to the hotel, that there was no traffic. I just want to put that out there. 5 minutes. It was a 5 minute drive. We were right next to the ER. I don't know, but I didn't notice any crazy traffic. And I got back to the hotel in 5 minutes. That's how long it was. So, but whatever. It cost me $10. It cost me $10 to Uber. And that was with a promo card because I had never Ubered before, so they gave me like 30% off for my first ride. Oh, I do also want to mention when they took me to the hospital, they didn't bring my shoes. So like they had asked, "Do you have any
I forgot to
slippers?"
drink water.
I just
Tricksters
drank.
213 played Tell the Bear to drink for 1000 channel points.
There, it's done. Let me see how many ounces that is now. 101, baby. 101 ounces. Nice. So, hi, Lone. Um, so they asked me if I had any slippers, and I said no because I didn't have slippers. I had tennis shoes. But I guess they took that as I didn't have shoes at all because they didn't. So I went to the hospital with no shoes, and they gave me socks. Right? They gave me socks, so I wasn't completely barefoot. But I was like, I'm about to leave this hospital, and I have no shoes. And I vocalized that a couple of times and said, hey, by the way, I have no shoes. And they go, cool. Wait in the waiting room. Cool. So my Uber gets there and I was a little confused about where my Uber was, and I ended up walking up a hill barefoot on the road or sidewalk. Yeah, I was on the sidewalk for most of it and was just like, I really hope I don't step on any glass in the city with my bare feet. Luckily, nothing happened. I got into the Uber and got back to my apartment. 4 hours later. I don't know what that bill looks like, by the way. I'm sure they're gonna send me a bill in the mail for the ambulance and the hospital visit to be told you got anxiety. I'm so pissed about it. I'm so pissed. Sat on the couch. I was very lightheaded, probably because I hadn't eaten anything and during that entire time. Um, so we chilled. It was basically 4 o'clock. Giant Con ends at 5. And it was by the time we got back to the apartment, it was already 4. There was no point of going out. So I sat on the couch. I ate some applesauce, um, drank some apple juice, uh, and I let my friend tell me, all right, what did you do? They went to the vendor hall. They showed me all the things that they bought, and we kind of just chatted about the whole situation. We laughed about it. So that's what you do after a crisis and you realize that everything's okay. You laugh about it. It was good. Um, and then we went out for dinner. Oh, I can show that off. Where is it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Is it still in his back? No. Where did I put it? Where are my pictures? Oh, here they are. What? That's for later. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. So we went to the Hard Rock Cafe because it was a diner, and we decided that a diner would be a safe place for us to eat. And it was. It was really good. Um, and there was just a photographer guy there. Um, and he was like, "You wanna get a picture taken? First one's free, and then if you like the others, you can buy those." And I went, and we were like, "Sure," So I believe this was our free picture, potentially. Yeah, I think this was the free one. It might have been the other one. It might have been smaller. I can't remember. But so there was like there we took 4 pictures. As in we took 4 pictures home because the first one was free. Um, and then oh, that's what happened. Yeah. So the first one was free, and that was kind of like a smaller picture. And then there was 2 other pictures that we really liked. This is the one I took home, and then my friend took the other one home. And he was like, okay, uh, uh, 2 for 30, and we are like, okay, that's 15 each. And then he took the other pictures out of this frame and then said that we could keep them. I don't know what type of marketing strategy that was. Mainly, maybe it was just he didn't want to keep the other pictures. I don't know. But he essentially took them out of this frame and then he gave us them for free. So I took this one home and my friend took the other one home. I really like this picture. But yeah, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe. It was really good. I liked it a lot. It was nice. And that was Monday. We went to dinner. We came home from dinner. We went to bed. Woke up on Tuesday, packed, uh, and then made our way home. And then I slept for 17 hours. And then I had to go to work on Wednesday. And sure, we'll keep up the updates. We'll get to the goodies in a minute. I promise. I promise we'll get to the goodies. Um, so I go back to work on Wednesday. Wednesday is my in the office day. I only go in the office once a week, and it's on Wednesdays. God, do I regret that? I should have just taken the other day off. I didn't. Mom told me not to. Oh, speaking of mom, yes, the whole blood sugar thing. My dad has diabetes, and my mom will find whatever reason to deny why something is happening for mental reasons. Because at first, it was at first when my brother uh was struggling, they went, oh, you need to take more vitamins. Your vitamins are down. That's why you're moody. That's why you're not doing well mentally. Your vitamins are down. um and then mom does the same thing with me. She's like, oh, you just need to get your vitamins. Now I guess the new theory for why I'm the way I am is that she thinks that maybe my blood sugar's too low. And there's some logic to it, because again, because she would compare it to dad. She'd be like, yeah, maybe, yeah, like dad can get a little twitchy sometimes when his sugar's low. Dad doesn't twitch like I do, otherwise he wouldn't get so upset that I do it. My parents hate it when I twitch, and their response when I start twitching is that they just tell me to stop it. Dad wouldn't tell me to knock it off if he twitched like I did. So no, I don't think I'm twitching because my blood sugar's too low. But that's her new theory now. Her new theory is that she wants to poke me every time I start twitching to see if my blood sugar's too low. Or you know, maybe I'm a person who has brain damage since I was 3 months old and am neurodivergent and might have some problem with my nerves or something. I don't know. That seems like a better conclusion than my blood sugar. Especially when I asked while I was still at the hospital, because that was the big talking point that mom was going off about. I asked, I was like, "Hey, since my dad has diabetes," because that was her other thing. She's like, "They don't know that your dad has diabetes." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I talked to the nurse and I was like, "Hey, my dad has diabetes. My mom's really worried about my sugar. Do you know what the numbers were?" And she was like, "Your glucose is fine. So you're fine." And I go, "Cool. Thanks." Because apparently your glucose level is a better judgment than your blood sugar level. I don't know. I'm not a medical profession. But they told me I was fine, and they had no concerns about me being diabetic or pre-diabetic or whatever. Did they test for it? I don't know. But they were not concerned about it. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to deal with for the next few months. Is just, how's your blood sugar? God, I hate him. Anyway, so I go to work on Wednesday, right? Um, immediately, I am having a meltdown. I'm not having a full on blood meltdown, but the day hasn't even has like barely started, and I'm already twitchy and struggling with my words and overstimulated and was not gonna have a good time. Now, luckily, my mentor, the person that I'm nesting with, is a lovely woman who is a mother, and she babies me like her child. Um, and I say that with the kindness of sh- of she's like, "I want to give you a hug and I want to help you." So I was pretty vocal about saying that, like, I am stressy. I am stressing, and I was feeling very overwhelmed, and my biggest concern was that I was going to go nonverbal on her. Because one of the things about being in a call center is that you need to be able to make calls, and which means you need to be able to talk, and if you don't talk while you're on the phone, you're going to get in trouble. Now granted, I'm in training, so I don't get in trouble because I'm still learning, but you get the idea. It's not a good idea to go nonverbal when you're trying to talk to a client. So that was my biggest concern. And my biggest problem was just essentially that there was too much noise happening around me. You're in a call center, which means other people are making calls around you, and I find it to be very distracting. It's very distracting. I have a thing where I can't talk when other people are talking. It's very difficult for me to talk when other people are talking, and so when I can hear other people talking, it throws me off. um and it was honestly the first day where I was supposed to sit at my desk to work. And after the complete meltdown that I had on Monday, I was and like sleeping all day Tuesday, I was like, I am not prepared to be in this environment right now. So I got into a quiet room to be able to talk to Kim about it, and she talked to my manager, who gave me the okay, since I was only 10 to 12 minutes away from the office, to just go ahead and work remote that day. Um, so I was like, cool. So I went back to my house, went back here, set up, and then I worked here. Cool, dandy. Made a couple of calls. It was and stuff, and then that was it. And that was Wednesday. Yes. Yes, that was Wednesday. Thursday was honestly kind of a blur, to be honest. I did basically some of the same thing I did the other day, but nothing really sticks out in my mind as important. Um, but then we got to today, and I had a panic attack over making a phone call. I had woken up knowing that my anxiety was a little bit higher than normal because I was feeling nauseous, which was also a new experience for me. I don't typically feel that nauseous unless there's motion sickness involved. But I was sitting there and I was just like, I'm I don't know if it's nerves, but I'm feeling nauseous. um, and she was like, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. And it was essentially we got to the first person that we actually needed to do a call for. We I go over to be like, okay, I just need to call this person to ask if they are accepting the deferral. That was all that needed to that was the action. The action for that call was get confirmation if they're accepting the deferral. We looked over the account, and that's all that was supposed to happen. And I sat there and I looked at it and I was just like, okay, 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 okay. Over and over again for probably 5 minutes. I couldn't do it. I couldn't call them. It got to the point where she finally asked me, "Are you gonna call them?" And then I was and it was at that point where I was like, "No." So I texted, I typed in the chat because we're in team Microsoft Teams. So I put in the chat that I was having a panic attack because that was essentially what's happening. It was like I am now um unable to work. I can't work right now. I'm having a panic attack. I'm hyperventilating, and I started crying because of course I did. I started crying. Um, I took my 15 early because it was like I was like 30ish minutes away from my 15. Um, so I just took it early. I was like, can I take the 15 early? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. So I took the 15 and then I cried and I gave my brother a hug because I needed a hug. And I cried some more and I beat myself up because of course I did. Because I started panicking because I was like, I work in a call center. I have to make calls. What made me think I could do this job? I don't like making my own phone calls. Why did I think this was a good idea? Um, and I cried for like 15 minutes. And then I do what I always do. I pull myself back together and I got back in and I was like, "Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. We talked about it for a little bit." Um Finally made the call. It went to voicemail. That's the other thing. When you're making a bunch of outbound calls, you're gonna get hit with voicemail, which meant that I had worked myself up into a panic attack over a call that went to voicemail. I was a little miffed with myself. I was just like, God, that was good job, me. Um, but yeah, That's usually what happens after the meltdown, and then I come back. Usually I'm fine for the rest of the day, and I didn't feel as nauseous anymore. It's like my body finally needed that release, and then once I get that release in the form of meltdowns and crying my eyes out, it's finally able to kind of calm down enough to actually get the work done. um but she was like, "What do you need?" No, yeah, Kim. I love Kim. I'm very glad that I'm with Kim, because um because she was like, what do you need from me to help? And eventually I did tell her, I was like, I have this friend, and sometimes I'll contact her and she'll walk me through some grounding techniques. Like the last time I had a shutdown, she had me list uh she had me count how many of a certain color was in my bedroom. Because she was like, I don't have panic attacks. I'm not trained to like deal with panic attacks, so I don't know how to help you. And so I was like, there's grounding techniques, and I told her, it's like, sometimes it takes a bit for me to calm down. Like, I've had panic attacks that have lasted for an hour. um I've had a panic attack that's lasted for 2 hours. Um it can sometimes I can pull myself together very quickly. Other times it takes a bit. Um but then I also mentioned is like, before I moved here, I was in therapy, and we came to a point in therapy where my therapist said we needed to go into medication, because that's just where I was at. I have grounding techniques. It's not stopping panic attacks. Um it's not stopping me shutting down or melting down or having panic attacks. So the next step is to do medication, and the problem that I kept having with doing medication right now is just working 9 to 6 essentially means I don't get to do anything else that day. I can't go to the doctor because I'm in work all day. um and Kim tried to tell me this, like, if you need to go to our doctor's appointment, like, you talk to your like manager and you work it out, and you can like make up the hours later, um and stuff. And so she's very pro, uh, go get therapy, or like just go take care of yourself. She's very pro in that. We actually spent some time today making an account with some of the mental health um options that the job at Nunya Banking gives me. So we did a little bit of that today. So I got that set up, but I was looking at therapists, and I kind of checked it out, mainly because I didn't because apparently I get like 5 counseling sessions for free, but I'm like, God, I need more than 5. Like, I when it's a new process, it freaks me out, and I don't want to do it. It's like, I don't understand how this works, so I just don't want to do it at all. So, because I got to the point where it was just like, okay, looking up, okay, here's a list of some therapists that you can talk to, and I'm like, but I'm working. I can't do it. So that's a me thing. that that's a me thing in my little noggin. But that's how today went. That's how today went. But I was determined. I was determined. I'm going to stream. I want to show off my goodies. I want to talk about Dragon Con. That was the plan. I was sticking to it. So that's how we got to here. So that was my week. That was my entire week, and it only took 2 hours to talk about it. But that means it's time. It's finally time. It's time for goodies, guys. Are you so excited for goodies? I'm excited for cookies. I want to show you my goodies. But first, I need to pee. So we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna talk about goodies.
Bill, the bell and the tile. Pop that iron, baby! Help! Help! What the longest name I know of is Judah.
The longest name I know of is Jagemu Goko no Sarikir Kaira Swigio no Swigio Matsu.
Okay, we're back. Let me show you. Bag of goodies! I'm going to attempt to show everything off by the day that I bought it, because I do have a list of when I bought things. So that's going to be my attempt. So we're going to go all the way back to Friday, because that's when the vendor hall was open. Oh, actually not even then, because there was other things that happened. Okay. So, I need to talk about this. This was free. Look at this little man. Look at him. Look at him. He's wonderful. He's a little 3D printed bearded dragon. And I have to say, DragonCon DragonCon goers are some of the nicest people. Like, everyone, like, there were so many people just essentially handing out things for free. This was free. Someone just handed me this. And I think their business card is in here too. Yeah. Yeah. Here. This is their business card. I know it's backwards, but there's a QR code. This is the person who made the little lizard, and she just handed it to me and said, "Here you go." And I was wearing my pink overalls, which had a little pocket in this test. So literally, I just had this little guy sitting like right here, and then I just kept petting him. His name is Texture, by the way. And his name is Textured only because I went to a panel for Nerds and Virgin People, and I pulled him out and I said, "Does anyone want to touch Texture?" And went, "Yep, that's his name now. His name is now Texture. Because it's texture." Yes. It's very good. It's very good. And so yeah, he sat up here in my little pocket, and I just kept petting his head. And that was my fidget toy for the day. That was my little fidget toy. Very good. Very good lad. I love him. And then the next day, someone else gave me a little 3D printed dragon. Look at him. Look at him. He's precious. He's so tiny. So, the thing about this one though was that he's spiky. He's got all these spikes, which meant that he just kind of perfectly fits between your fingers. So he just perfectly fit there, and then I would rub him up and down, and so I named him Tum Tum because he would just sit on my finger, and then I would rub his and then I would rub his tummy. I would just rub him up and down. I'm having a hard time doing it this time around. But essentially, I would rub him up and down, and so his name is his name is Tum Tum. But yeah, didn't people would just be handing things out. My friend made a bunch of Boulder Gate related bracelets to hang out to Boulder Gate and like Critical Role cosplayers. And I guess some people just had enough time on their hands to just make little tiny 3D printed things and hand them out to people. It was very good, very nice. So got those. This is just a sticker that I picked up at a booth at one of the panels because I like stickers. What else? Oh, I should probably also show off my badge because there were. Oh man, yeah, they got a. My little ribbons got a little crushed. So this is the ribbon. I'm trying to see if I can cover up. Yeah, that's fine. This was another thing that apparently happens at Dragon Con. People make ribbons. People make ribbons and then they just give them out. So I have a ribbon that says "Sorry Mario, but my cosplay is at another castle." There was a charity at the at the con called NAMI Georgia for the mental health people. It's a charity for people spreading awareness of mental health. I got a ribbon for being a Dragon Con newbie. Someone was just hanging out a ribbon that says "More cheese, please." So like there's just a bunch of ribbons that like have little sayings on them, and people like literally had entire bins filled with different ribbons, and they would just hand them out to people to the point that there's an entire competition for the longest ribbon throw. My friend had enough ribbons that they had to roll them up and pin them because they were dragging on the ground. So what's some of my favorites? I got a couple of like cool writer ones. Oh yeah, like the polite way of saying things, like this was identified early on as a likely outcome. The polite way of saying "I told you so." You're welcome to test that assumption and note the results. Otherwise known as "fuck around and find out." Writers, we make the voices in our head work for us. I like that one. That was funny. Mansplaining equals correctly dysfunction. 3 easy steps to becoming a writer. 1. Read a lot. 2. Write a lot. 3. Finish the fucking project. Yeah. So yeah, people just made a bunch of ribbons, and they just made a bunch of ribbons and handed them out. There were some people like artists will also like there was also some booths in the vendor hall that were also selling ribbons, but I was like, my dude, why would I want to buy a ribbon when so many people are just handing them out to me for free? So I didn't buy any ribbons. But no, people were crazy about their ribbons. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's what I made that over the years. Not over the years, but over the days. We'll get to that later. Let me. Oh. Okay. Yep, this one. So I have an intensity to buy books at conventions. Like I just buy books that I do not read. So I bought a book. It's called Writers of the Future, the best new. I think that might mean sci-fi and Fantasy Short Stories of the Year, Volume 41. Essentially, I was informed that there's a free writing competition that happens quarterly, where people submit short stories. And if you win, your story gets placed into a book like this. And there's a competition called the Futures of Illustrators, which is essentially the same concept except it's for artists. And the winners of those competitions make an artwork for the stories of the writers. So this book has just has like pictures in it from the artists about whatever story is about. And I thought that was really cool. They told me about the competition. I have so many bookmarks. And one of the fun things about buying books at conventions is that you can get them signed by the author. So I had some of the authors that were at the convention, some of the authors and the illustrators signed my book. For some reason they wrote "Stay Alive" um as their signature. So they have their signature and then they wrote "Stay Alive." 21 Pilots. Where's 21 Pilots? That's a top song? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, the well, apparently the title of this book is Karma Birds. I don't know. I haven't read any of the stories yet. Oh, it's their band motto? Okay. I don't know. Maybe she is a top fan. I don't know. But yeah, so I got a bunch of bookmarks for the authors, and they like just stuck them in their thing. Oh, this is just a thing inside of here. Okay. Oh, neat. Okay. Okay. But yeah, so I got this book signed by a couple of the writers and some of the artists. And I thought it was really neat, and maybe one day I'll join the competition. I don't know. I have to get through my imposter syndrome and anxiety first. But who knows? Maybe I'll write something good enough to be published in one of these books. That would be cool. So I bought this, and it was only $20. That was the other thing. I was expecting everything to be really expensive, and like some of it was. But for this for a book of this size with this many like stories, because I think it's like 11 or 15. I can't remember how many stories are in here. I asked for the price and they said 20, and I was like, sold. Say less. Enter in spite of thinking you can't. Yeah. What I think what's really nice is the idea is the thing that the competition is free. Most competitions usually have to pay an entries fee, and sometimes you have to read the fine print to make sure that they don't steal the rights of your writings from you. But this one is very writer friendly, um, and so I was like, okay, bet. So yeah, I got this book. I gotta read it at some point. Um, what else? What else did I get that day? Oh, the pins and the dice. Gotcha. Let me see if I can. Aha, here we go. There's the dice, and the pins are in here, so I just have to pick this up. Okay, so I could take it out. No, I'll just show it off. Okay. Yeah. I would. Yeah, some of the writers definitely warned us, like watch out for competitions that are predatory and stuff. So I also bought this thing, which is really cool. So this is an itcha bag, and an itcha bag is essentially a bag, where it has a clear side, so you can open it up and just have your stickers, not your stickers, but your pins pinned to something. Um, and then you can slide it into here and show off your stickers without having to worry about your stickers, not your stickers, your pins falling off and getting lost. I will say this one specifically does not work for these circle pins that do this. I tried to pin this on here and it was not working. There's not enough room to get the needle out and be able to hook it back. And so it just sits here at the bottom. It sits here at the bottom. Um, this isn't my first itcha bag. Uh, but the reason why I got this is actually this is a waist bag. It goes around your waist, so it sits like here, and I thought that was really cool. It was $150. It was probably one of my most expensive purchases, but I saved up the money so I can buy this bitch, you know? So I thought about it for a day and then I went back and bought it. So yeah. I really like it. And when I was debating against this one. I was debating against this one and one that was rainbowed, but then when the guy came back to me and said, "What were you thinking?" I was like, "I was thinking about like this or this one." He informed me which ones he still had in stock, and the only one that I was interested in was this one. And so I was like, "Well, that made it easy." And so I bought it. Um, so yeah, I like it. So let me pull this back out because I one of the other things that I bought was pins. So I wanted to show off the pins. So these are not new. I moved these over here from my other itchy bag. Uh, I can show it off if you want, but I think you've seen it before. These are the new pins that I bought. This is also old, but these are the new pins that I bought. It's a little hard to see what they are, but they're D&D classes. So I have one for being the DM, Artificer, and Wizard. I'll try to show off. So this is the DM one. So it's like a little cloak guy, and he's got his little dice in his hands. This is one for the Artificer, so you got a little potion and a key. And then this is obviously the Wizard. He's got your little spell book. I got the DM one and the Artificer one because Artificer is my favorite class. That's why I have two of them. DM because usually when I play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, I'm usually the DM because I have the most experience. And when I got these two, he basically, I don't remember if it's like the third one was free or there was a deal for getting the third one. And I decided to get the Wizard for Lucan. I had to get the Wizard for Lucan. I bought this on a different day, but I might as well show it off. This is just a Dragon Con pin. So that was just part of one of the souvenirs that I got. So it says Labor Day weekend 2025 Dragon Con Atlanta, Georgia. So that's just one of my like souvenir pins. And I decided to put it in here because it's dragon themed and it makes sense. I think someone gave me this pin. I don't think I bought this, but it essentially says I'll allow it, and it's on the D20. Yeah, I think someone just handed me that. Like I said, people at Dragon Con just hand you shit. They're just like, "Here, you want this?" And it's great. I love it. I love free shit. Oh, also this one came with two of them. So I can switch them out obviously I need more pens, but I can eventually just switch them out for whatever I'm vibing. So I'm trying to make this one dedicated to Dungeons and Dragon pins. These technically don't count as Dungeons and Dragon pins, but it's one of them is Witch Brew and the other one's a Moth, and it's really pretty. And they both just conveniently fit on top of there, so I just decided to move them over. But yeah. And the inside of the bag's not too bad either. Currently right now it's just full of business cards and other bookmarks. I have a lot of bookmarks. But I eventually need to empty that out. I kind of wish that the bag opened a little bit more. Um, it doesn't open very wide. I kind of wish that it did to make it just kind of easier to get inside, you know? Oh, also with my purchase. Yeah, with my purchase, something have a free coaster. This also so it was Norse Foundry was the company that I got the pins from. But yeah, something have a coaster, and I was like, okay. So I got a free coaster with my purchase. I don't remember why, but I'm not gonna say no to free shit. So yeah, that's that guy. So that was Friday. That was this. Oh, I forgot my dice. I bought dice. um, these were $50, but it came in this really nice case, and also they're a liquid core. So let me get the D20 out of here, and I'll try to show it. I'll try to show it off, but shake. It's really cool. I really like it. There we go. So inside of it is just a bunch of glitter, and there's also pictures of dragons on the inside. Because these were their Dragon Con and exclusive dice. So hence why there's a dragon inside of them. But yeah, liquid core. So because of that, I decided to buy them. I thought they were really pretty. Oh, and I think when I rolled them, I rolled a natural 20, so I had to buy it. That's a thing. When you go to buy dice, um we'll roll the dice, and depending, well, I just rolled a 1. But depending on what I roll on the dice depends how depends if I buy them or not. Like, I found dice that was the colors of the asexual flag. I rolled it and I got a nat 1 and said, "Nope, not today." And I walked away. Okay, 10. All right. But they're very pretty and I like them. So that was Friday. Your dice sucked. Did they suck as in like you were rolling really bad, or like they were really poor quality? Okay, you were just rolling shit. Bad rolls. Gotcha. Yeah, that would do it. So, uh Saturday. So Saturday I only had time to buy the bag, the leg bag. I went back the day after to buy it, but I also got a lot more books. Let me. Ugh. Oh, this was also with the pins. This was also free. Apparently, I haven't opened it obviously, but apparently this is a little one shot. This is just like they just handed out a little one shot. Apparently it's I guess it's like a little bit of an advertisement. The back of this says Titan's Keep is an upcoming system agonist campaign setting guide designed to provide DMs and players with an expansive new world to explore the wondrous realm of something. This grandiose high fantasy campaign setting is brim with enchantments and peril at every turn, and introduces new ancestries, backgrounds, subclasses, monsters, magical items, and more for the use in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition, or your favorite tabletop role playing game. Okay, and there's a couple more paragraphs, but I won't get into it. Okay, so that's what this is. Here's another barcode for more information. Okay. So yeah, that also came with the purchase of the pens. What did it, when did I get this? I don't know what this is. Sometimes I just get things and I don't even know where they came from because I didn't buy this. When did I get this? I don't know what this is. Give me a company. Give me some sort of knowing where this is. What is this anything? This just seems like it's promotional. This is just promotional for like books or something. What is this? A lot of promotional apparently. Yeah, this looks like a pamphlet to like be like, oh, you want to buy things? It's like a catalog for books or maybe movies. I can't tell. Probably books. I can't tell. I don't know, but it looks like this. Anyway, this one I do remember where I got this from. Because this was this was from I went to a panel for streamers, and one of the streamers, I guess, also is an artist who makes a webcomic and is writing. And I believe this. He said that this story was about the Japanese soldiers in World War II. The lost battalion. Um, and it's a signed copy of of like maybe the like first part of it. Yeah. So there's a barcode. I think that'll probably take you to be able to read it on Webtoons. But because it was my birthday or it was my birthday week, he gave me a copy of his comic. So that was just some more things. Ugh, I'm still looking. Aha, they're on the bottom because they're the heaviest. So, come to me, mother. What? What? The code? Oh, you need the code. Let me know if that works. I don't know if it's too blurry or something. Hold it far away a bit. How's that? Is that better? Oh, it doesn't work. Here, let me try scanning it, and then I just send you the link. Okay, there we go. That works. I'll put it in streamer chat for anyone who is interested. stream clips. Stream chat. Please. There we go. For anyone who's interested in this story, there you go. Okay. So the other thing that I bought on Saturday, back when everyone else was at the parade, was that I found a booth that was selling D&D books 30% off. I couldn't say no to that. So I bought 3 books because they also had a sale that if you bought 3 books, it was $100. So I finally completed the new 5e books, because they came out with 5e.5 essentially. I have the player's handbook, I had the dungeon master book. I didn't have the monster manual. Now I have the monster manual. I have new stat blocks and new monsters and new yay. I heard really good things about the new monster manual, so I'm very happy that I finally got it. Because apparently there's a lot more flavor text to help you understand how like behaviors and things like that, and I'm just excited. Brother Bear better watch out. Yeah, they better. They better watch out. Also, man, the art's so cool. Look at this art. This is the art for the bandits. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that the one in the front is a woman. I like that. I don't know why I like that, but I like it. Oh my god. There's also this little guy in the there's also this guy in the corner that's like just casting magic at a guy. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so I got the Monster Manual book. Very excited, very happy. I'm running out of places to put things. Get on the floor. I got The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. This is a Feywild adventure. What? Get off the floor. So this is an adventure that happens in the Wayfile. It's very popular. And I got it mainly because I wanted to learn more about the Feywild, and this apparently is a very good book. Oh wow, I've actually never opened this before. What the? Oh, I think that's probably the map. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad that they came with the map. Oh, there's a story tracker? Dude, I've never opened this before. Anyway, this is an adventure that happens in the Feywild. I was very interested in the Feywild and wanted to do more research in the Feywild, so I got this as more of like a research kind of book. Or I could play it, one or the other. Then I got this one, and I gotta admit, I got it mainly because of how cool it looks. But both. Both is good. Yeah, I got this mainly because it looks pretty. This is one of those, every once in a while they'll have a book with an alternate cover, and that just happened to be one of this. So this is also an adventure book. But this is an adventure book that happens in a different dimension. From what I understand. The intro says that it's in the heart of the Infernal Plains lies the ancient and mysterious city called the Radiant Sentinel. Though traditions, cooperation, and ancient magic, 15 civilizations are bound to this wondrous site. And there's a picture of what it looks like. So it looks like this. Ah, it looks like this. So it's a new location in a different plane of existence, and I think this one, how it's built is that it's multiple short adventures that that happens. Also they have these cool things like they have like gem. This is obsidian. This is an obsidian bird. It's a bird made of obsidian. It's called the obsidian eagle. Um here's an amethyst tiger and a amber scorpion. So I just thought it was cool. But I'm trying to get to the point. Okay, the adventures. Right? Am I too far? Am I too far in the book? I might be too far in the book. I am too far in the book. That's why. Yeah. So essentially, I just thought it was cool. I did think it was cool. So essentially, this book has a bunch of short adventures, and for like different levels. So like there's a adventure for levels 1 and 2 called the Salty Legacy. A conflict between rival night market vendors draws characters into a hunt for a mysterious saboteur and a series of whimsical contests. And then it goes up from levels 1 to 14. I haven't delved too deeply into it, but I thought it would also might be a fun little adventure. Also, it looks cool. Oh, I think the cover makes more sense now that I know that now that I am realizing the amount of gem creatures in the book. This is what the back looks like, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, I bought this. I got all three of those for $100. I thought that was worth it. God, was it heavy! I had to carry that for like half a day. It hurt my shoulders so much. They're so heavy. But I survived. That's why I bought on Saturday. Sunday was our very big vendor day. And even then, we probably only spent like 2 hours in the vendor hall. Whoop. So yeah. So let me. Okay. This is this is when we went to the Dragon Con store, the Dragon Con merch store, and that's where I got the pin. And I got this guy. Oh, there's a little metal thing. So I guess this is the Dragon Con mascot or something. I don't know. But here he is. Are the wings posable? That's what I was trying to figure out. There is something hard inside of the wings. So I'm not too sure, but there is something hard in the wings. But I can't imagine that the wings really move too much. Now, I will admit, this is the only thing that doesn't have a name. This poor little guy has no name. I just finally took him out of his packaging. He doesn't have a name. Everything else has a name. He does not have a name. Nobody. Don't be mean to him. It's not his fault. We're not naming him Nemo. Come on, give me an actual name. You can think about that. Oh god, my laptop is gonna die on me. What's the other one? Otis. Stop trying to name him nobody. Oh, he sits so well. Hold on, actually. Look how well he sits. He sits so well. He's such a good sitter. Okay. What else? Oh, the art book. I don't do this often. But I just really liked her art. This is an art book of just this artist's art, essentially. Take those out. That's for later. Like, how do I even show this? So this was a black artist, and all of her art is black women. I will admit that. Like, it is all just black women, but it's really pretty. It's very pretty, and it gives me ideas. Oh, actually, nope. Here we go. We have a black man. Look at him. The one black man. Yeah, I think that's a man. But yeah, no, this it was. Oh, this one's kind of Asian. Okay, so they're not all black women, but yeah, it essentially. I was just looking at all of her different arts, and I was like, it's just all so very pretty. Oh, this one's cute. Look at that. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. I love all of it. It's such a vibe. It's so adorable. It's so good. I just love the shading, and there's work. Oh, look at that. There is a white woman in here. Look at that. There's a white woman in here. You've seen her stuff? The art of Greenbus Browers. But yeah, it's just such a vibe. I, ooh, look at this one. Look at this one. Look at her. But yeah, it it's very cool. So yeah, it was 30. It was she even covered the back and the fronts of them. And also she signed it because of course she did. Her signature came with like a little picture of her. It's so cute. It's like the book is like it's not hardcover, but it's not paper either. Like it's a little hard, but it also bends. Like it easily bends. It's this weird middle ground. Oh, look at the back. Yeah. So yeah, I really liked it, so I bought it. I'm gonna put that up here. Uh, what else? I think I got a text from mom. I forgot to tell you when I was relaxed. They X-rayed my spine, and I just like you. Aw, we're extra bone buddies. Okay. What else? Oh, there was a Pokemon keychain that I bought. It was like a gotcha machine. So it was randomized, but I got a Mareep and then shiny Mareep. It's very cute. I didn't know where to put it, so I just put it on top of the bag. So I got that. Oh, so a little this is a little not as known about me, But I actually really like Oswald the Rabbit. I don't know why your emotes is not showing, because I know exactly which one you're using, but I don't know why it's not showing. But yeah. Um, I I love Oswald the Rabbit after I learned that he exists, and I just think he's so cool. And not a lot of people make art of Oswald. So a person was selling Oswald for $10, and I had to buy him, and the artist signed it. And it came with its own frame, which was very nice because it meant that I didn't have to buy a frame for it. It's one of these frames, and honestly, I think they're kind of crappy frames because you're supposed to take this out and then I guess wedge it into here to make it work, but I just can never get it to actually work, you know. But I'll try again. But yeah, I just got a little Oswald. Do, 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 do. What else? Oh, my rice stickers. They should be in here, I think. No, that's a dice. Oh, I also got a rat. Someone just handed me a plastic rat, and my friend gave me one of the bracelets that they made. Oh, and when I bought the dragon at the Dragon Con store, the the person selling me the dragon just gave me this rock. I just got a gemstone. I don't know which gem it is, but they just handed me this and said, "Here you go." And I didn't ask questions. Okay, so there's that. Where did I put the stickers? Because they're not in there. Did I put the stickers in here? I'm really pissed if I don't have my stickers. Oh, they are in here. Okay, fantastic. I got a little concerned. Do I have anything else in this pocket? No, just this. Okay. Another thing, if you guys remember, is that I really like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series. But they're not always well known. And so it can also be hard to find merchandise for them. So I was very happy when someone was making made Rise stickers. So hold on, they're all sticking to each other. Okay. So I got all of them. I got all of my boys for $20. And I got a free April O'Neil. That when they were like, if you buy all of the boys, you can have a free April or uh, or Casey. And I decided that April needed to be with her brothers. I couldn't separate the brothers with her sister. They're not actually sisters. For anyone who's not in the know of Team and Team lore, just making that clear, they're found family siblings. Yes, making it clear they're not actually sisters, but April O'Neil is basically their best friend, and so she gets sister privileges. So I had to take April with me. So yay! I got my Rise stickers. I'm so happy. I can't wait to put them in my sticker journal. They'll have a page all to themselves. Okay. What else? Ooh, we'll get to that. That'll be the showstopper. Yeah, we'll get. Okay. So I couldn't stop at just buying one liquid core. I needed two liquid cores, but this one's bigger. Honestly, this is more of a fidget toy than an actual dice that'll be rolling because just look at it. Look at it. This was $32, but it's a liquid core, and I really like it. I rolled a 3. I'm rolling really crappy today. Remy be scared. They're from a company that I buy dice from a lot, and they had this promo going where if you told them about the advertisement, they would give you a free bag. So I also got this free bag that you open it up and then it opens up like this. So you can't put a lot in here, but it was free and it's kind of cool. And so you can close it up and then it has this string and then you can use that to help close it up as well. So that's neat. I like it. The mine says 50 years of adventure. My friend also got a bag, but their bag was black. I decided to go for the brown one. And theirs I think just had a D20 on it. So I think I got the cooler bag. But yeah, I like this company a lot. I buy dice from them like every year when I go to a convention. And this year I just got a liquid cord. Yee. I had to also go back. I also went back to that booth that was selling D&D books, and I bought another book from them. This one is still in packaging. I haven't actually opened it, so I should probably do that. Let's open it. This was apparently was on Kickstarter, and it was the last copy that they had, and it was $42. And I just decided to buy it because I was very interested in it. Essentially, this is a book full of bad guys that you could use in your adventure. So I figured, again, might be good inspiration for what to throw at characters. So I'm going to open it up randomly and see what happens. Who the heck are you? You're pretty strong, too. We got this guy. Let me see. What are you? You're a lawful good humanoid. Okay, so you're a human. Lawful good. Interesting. Do you have any lore? Do I have to go to this page? Okay. Okay, and then that's a different thing. Okay. No. Okay. Hold on. Let me. Looks like a pacifist. Maybe there's no lore on this guy, unless I'm not looking in the right spot. These are their own. Okay, that's a weapon. That I don't know what that is. I don't think. Am I? Interesting. Okay. I think it's all part of this thing. Um, Oh, it's a case. It's written like it's a case file. That's what this looks like. So it's written like it's a case file. Warning that the expectations are too high. We at the Burrow know better than anyone that some lesser evils are necessary to keep the universe spinning. The engine doesn't distinguish between a parking violation and the cold blooded murder, and that makes it a threat. Oh. They're not a pacifist, they're extremists. Gotcha. And then this is the lore about these people. So the redefactication engine is essentially a celestial judgment machine. Okay, so that's the machine. So a Prius. I mean, okay. Has layer actions. Has regional effects. I guess these are angels? No, they're just humans. It's very interesting. Let me look at the beginning and see if there's an introduction. God, it's written in such tiny text. Uh, okay, I'm not reading the foreword. How to use this book? Okay, so it's designed to be used with the 5e core rules. Creatures marked in blue text can be found in this book. Creatures marked in bold purple text can be found in the 5e core rules. Magic items and spells written in italics and new items found in this book are also marked with an asterisk. Text marked in bold red refers to another section in this book. All other basic rules and non-magical equipment can be found in the 5e core rules. Okay, the big bads are presented alphabetically. These boss monsters are designed with their tactics, backstory, game status, and any minions or magic items they might have. Each big bad is designed to be the main boss of its own story arc. Villains tend to be self centered after all, but they can also be dropped into a campaign at any point to cause some havoc or support a larger plot. Some big bads are connected to each other, like those guys. Next chapter is building a big bad campaigns. This present this presents ways to combine multiple big bads into longer interconnected adventures using the campaign framework. Another way of creating adventures showcasing multiple big bads is providing the Big Bad Bureau wants you. This section introduces a new organization dedicated to managing the threats of the big bads across the multiverse, as well as new player options and campaign ideas. Then there's a section for layer maps, providing beautiful uh, maps of layers of several big bads, art showing off the special edition cover for some of the big bads by type and color, and then finally the index. Okay. Uh, complicated villains with misguided intentions. Me like. Nice. Okay, cool, cool. So I'll definitely have to look through this some more. Um, and who knows? Ooh, what are you? Better left unread. Danger level 8. Demeanor alarming enthralled. What are you? I'm looking at this, by the way. Anyway, so this is the first time I've actually ever opened this book, so I was just very curious. But no, this seems very interesting. Frog. Lucky Frog. What was the Lucky Frog a part of? Frog frog baddies. Gotcha. Gotcha. Look out for the swamp. Yeah, no, literally just frogs. Just very dangerous frogs. A lot of dangerous frogs. This one's literally eating a person. Look at him. Look at him. He's got a whole person in his mouth. He's eating an entire person. Oh god, that is really creepy. I won't even show that just because it's so creepy. Moving on from that. Let me get. There's so many bats. So many big bats. I love it. It's amazing. Okay, there's the lair maps. Nice. Those are cute. Okay. Really like this. I think this was Kickstarter. It's made by Hit Point Press. The Big Book of Big Bads. Big Heroes Need Big Bads for 5th edition. Made by Hit Point Press. Very good. Very good. Like it. I'll put that over there. What else did I buy? Oh! I got another stuffy. This is Bun Bun. Also known as Violet Frost. It's a whimsical whiskers dream guardian, and they had like an entire whole lore about these bunnies. Essentially, there was different animals, but their thing is that they're all part dragon, and they're dream guardians. And I was like, God, you're gonna get so many kids with these things. I say as I bought one because how could I not have a bunny dragon? I want a bunny dragon, you know. Look how big the ears are. It's so cool. Funny enough, when I was going to the hospital, the first words that I was actually able to say that day, and it took me so hard. It was so hard for me to say, but I literally, as they were putting me in the stroller and they were like trying to figure out, okay, what things I needed, like my purse and things like that, I just went, bah, bah, bah. And luckily, my friend realized that what I was asking for was for my bunny. And so I went to the hospital with Bun Bun, and I said Violet Frost because that is the actual name. I adopted her. She is my child now. I have actual adoption papers. It's very cute. Um, but yeah, I call her Bun Bun because that was all I was able to force myself to say was bah bah bah. So that's her name now. Her name is Bun Bun, and she's very precious, and I love her. Very good. What else did I buy? Oh, this one's very quick. This is just a little clicker. So it's just one of those clickers, and what's neat about this one is that Chopper's on it. It's a little hard to see because it's blurry, and I apologize, but I promise you, Chopper is on it. And that's the only reason why I got it. I got it because I was like, my friend was like, you want a clicker?" And I was like, "Oh, I want a clicker," because I like fidgets. And what's really funny about this actually is that if someone else was doing this, it would drive me up the wall. But for some reason, whenever I'm doing it, it doesn't bother me. I mean, sometimes maybe it will and I just stop, but when I'm able to control the clicky clacky, it doesn't bother me as much. Then if I handed this to someone else and then they were just sitting there going, it would bother the shit out of me. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. My friend did warn me. She's like, they were like, I have to admit, you need to stop clicking that. You can't just continuously keep clicking it. So I did stop clicking it. It actually did come to a point where I was so tired of clapping my hands that instead of clapping my hands, I just went. I was wearing my headphones though, so I couldn't hear the sound. But okay. I think that's it. Well, it's not it. We're at the grand finale because the last thing that I'm going to show you is the coolest thing that I've ever bought. It also comes with a little bit of backstory. So first, and I'm so sad. I'm so sad that Lauren's not here because Lauren would also think this was really cool. But sadly, Lauren didn't show up. For shame. So now I just have to show it off myself. So sometimes comic artists will go to conventions, right? And I usually don't pay them any mind because they're usually Marvel or DC, and I don't really care for comics too much. But you could mess in Lauren. I could. Let me see. Let me message Lauren and see if Lauren is ready to see a really cool thing. I am showing something cool on stream if you want to see it. We'll see if that gets her attention. So basically I'm like I don't really care for comics, except I care a lot about Sonic. And one of the artists for IDW Sonic was there. And it was actually kind of funny. It was actually pretty funny because the first time we got there, he wasn't there. He didn't make it yet. And I was just like, that's so mean. That's so mean. Hello. I was going over all of the things that I bought at DragonCon, and I thought you would be interested in this the grand finale because it's Sonic related. I got to meet one of the artists that makes art for the IDW Sonics, and so I got these stickers. So I got these stickers and these stickers and these stickers. And then I also got this poster of Sonic and Super Amy that doesn't actually exist because Amy has never gone super before, but I still really like it. I really like that it's a little hard to tell, but her eyes are magenta, and I really like that. I really like that they're a pink color. But then I also got this one with Metal Sonic and Whisper, Rouge, Tangled, Knuckles, Silver, my boy Silver. I'm sorry about the glare. Sonic, Blaze, Tails, and there's Amy in the corner. Both of them are signed at the bottom. And now, for the grand finale. I haven't actually seen this in person yet. I'm so excited. He was doing commissions for, he had blank cover comics of the first issue of Sonic X DC. So you could pay money for him to sketch out. Oh, good, you're here in time. So you can commission him to sketch whatever you wanted on the cover. And I was like, "Oh, you know what? I started streaming, and my mascot is very Sonic coded. Could you draw Nunya Bear?" And how much was that issue? So it was so the commission was $110. But we'll get to the price in a minute. I want to show this off. So interesting. Okay. Oh, it looks so good. Are you ready? Are you guys ready to see Nunya? No. I have to fully explain. So I showed him a picture of Nunya. I explained and I gave him a little information about Nunya. I said, "Well, Nunya has no sense of direction." And then I was like, she doesn't like bees. She's terrified of bees. So she's a bear who doesn't like honey. And then the last thing I said was, "Oh, Nunya really likes to fish." And so he made this. Look at her. She's lost. She went fishing and got lost. Look at her. She looks so good. Because I told him, I was like, make her look as Sonic as possible. Cause you know my drawing of Nunya, it's Sonic coded, but it's not fully Sonic. So I told him, make it as Sonic as possible. How long did that take? It took basically a day. I commissioned him on Sunday, and then I was supposed to pick it up on Monday. I have to show it off again. So he basically had 24 hours to make it. Critique wise, the overalls are too long. I did say that the overalls should have only went to her knee, but it does look like she's in a fishing outfit, so I kind of let it pass. You know, she's going fishing. She needs longer pants. It's just, I love it so much. She's got her little ear out of her hat. I love it so much. And then so there's that page, and then you flip the page, and then it's Sonic versus DC. Not versus DC, but XDC. Yeah, you also make that mistake a lot. But yeah, then you flip the page, and then it's the comic. It's the comic. I haven't read it yet. But but yeah, so it's just the first issue of the crossover. When did Amy get a flying car? Oh wait, no, that checks out. The Sonic Racing. Never mind, that makes sense. So yeah. So about the price, this was supposed to be $110, right? I commissioned it on Sunday. I was supposed to pick it up on Monday, but as you remember, except for Lauren, who wasn't here for story time, I spent Monday in the hospital. So my friend had the job of going back to the artist alley to pick up my commission, and I handed her the money so she could be able to pay for the commission. And apparently, what happened after she went to go pick up the commission, they were like, yeah, so and this was before we like really knew what was happening. So they were just like, and where, oh, they're over here. Okay. And they were like, yeah, she just started twitching. We're not sure what happened, and and then they went to go pay for the commission, and he gave me back $60 and said, I'm gonna need it. and he was like, she's gonna need this. So I actually only paid $50 for the commission, which was totally unplanned. Obviously, it was unplanned. I was fully prepared to pay the entire amount. But he gave me back $60, and also gave me 2 more sticker sheets. I already bought all of the sticker sheet variants, so now I just have 2 more of these. Like, I have 2 of these now. Gimme? I mean, yeah, sure. I have sticker sheets to spare. You can have my doubles. This one's mine. I can't do anything about that. Sadly, he only gave me 1 of these, but he gave me 2 more sticker sheets. I guess he forgot that I already bought the sticker sheets. But yeah. So sure. You can have the other 2. I'll keep those safe for you. But yeah, so that was. But yeah, no, this is the coolest thing. Oh yeah, you still owe me a shadow poster. But yeah, no, this is now the coolest thing I own. This is so cool. I love this so much. I got Nunya drawn by a Sonic artist. Frame it. I am too scared to try to remove this page. Like, I am too afraid to try to move this page. I am not doing that. The whole comic ding dong. But then I can't read the comic. How am I supposed to read the comic if it's in a frame? I mean, I guess I can read the comic first. Read it, then frame it. I don't even know if there's a frame big enough for this. This is like not cardboard, but it's not paper. It's like It's like poster kind of like poster paper vibe. That's did he? This has to be printed, right? He sketched this and then like put it onto computer and then printed it out. Yeah. That has to be how you did this. It needs 1-2 is very determined that I framed this. I have so many posters I haven't framed yet. I need frames for those posters. I don't even know if I have enough wall space for all these posters. I don't know. It's just I'm looking at it and I'm feeling it, and I don't feel the brush strokes. But it does fit. But it does blend a little bit on the back. Maybe he did. I don't know. I can't tell. You got the ceiling. I can't frame. I can't. How am I supposed to put it on the ceiling? It is weird. There's this like, I guess it's like a protection layer around it. I don't know what this is, but it's like, but it's actually like stapled onto the book. Double-sided tape. Maybe? I don't know how to get this off. Because it's been literally stapled to the booklet. Rip it off gently. I don't know. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, that coolest thing I've ever bought. And that's everything. That's everything I've bought. That's all the merchandise that I bought at DragonCon. I still had $300 left in my budget, so that's now money to be used for something else. I'm thinking about just adding it to using it to try to start paying off my student loans. Trying to save up money to be able to knock a loan off. Because I checked my loans again to see how they're doing. I've apparently paid off $13,000 of my loan, so that's good. But I saw that some of them were like, "Oh, this loan is only $2,000, give or take." Like the thousand mark was 2. And I was like, "Oh, I could save up for that, and then knock a loan off, and then my loan payment should hypothetically be shorter." That makes sense in my mind. So I'm thinking about trying to see maybe saving up for that. Next, I don't know. Money's a little iffy right now. Iffy in the sense of trying to figure out what to prioritize right now, because there's the loans, there's the bills, and then I have to pay mom back. And so I'm trying to pay her back as much as I can. And with all of those things, my money goes in one hand and out the other. So it makes it very hard to try to save up for anything, because it's like, all of my paycheck just keeps getting eaten by everything. Oh, Lauren, since you're here, I can show you my little chopper clicker. Look at my little chopper clicker. I can click chopper space. It's very good. Very good. Click the boy. Yes, very clicky. But yeah. So I think maybe tomorrow, as long as I'm still up for it, we'll do another stream tomorrow, probably doing Slay the Spire. I want to do one of their daily challenge runs. I think that would be fun. So that's my plan for tomorrow. I say that because I actually need to get to D&D in the next 30 minutes. So, and I've made a mess of my room. So I need to clean all that up. But yeah, it took only almost 4 hours, but I got through all the Dragon Con stuff. God, I'm tired. All the goodies. I'm so happy about my goodies. I did good this year. I'm very excited. I have books to read and lore to learn so I can murder someone. I need to send Lucan and Janice on an adventure. I might use one of the adventures out of the book. I don't know. Maybe Lucan gets to go to the Eternal Plane. We'll see. I still need to read what that adventure is, because I need something for them to do, and I'm having a hard time figuring it out. I got a big bad. I got a book of big bads, so maybe that will also help with trying to find enemies for them to fight. I don't know. A lot of goodies. A lot of planning. A lot of things. Man, I am tired. Do I even want to go to D&D? I kind of want to sleep. I should probably try to play. I don't know. I will make that decision in the next 30 minutes. Thank you all for showing up. If only any of you are medical professionals. But hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. It also probably will depend on how much writing I decide to do tomorrow. Right now, we've hit a little bit of a roadblock, but that can change. And if that changes, I'm addicted to writing. Space is gone tomorrow. There we go. That'll do it. Space is not available tomorrow. Space is going to be listening to the new 21 pilot episode. We need one of those beacons of light for Nanya when she's in trouble. Yeah. I have. You have one? What's my beacon? What do you mean you have a beacon? I went to the panel for neurodivergent writers, and people were talking about how like they were struggling with being able to sit down and like write, and I was like, I have the opposite problem. I need to write less. And they're like, okay, so you're addicted to writing. Yes. Set alarms. The beacon if something is wrong is me either messaging you or being dead silent and offline for too long. Touche. Touche. Because it's either I'm telling you, oh, I'm having a bad day, or or you don't or you just don't hear from me at all because I'm too busy sleeping my sleeping my anxiety away. I think I'm getting better at like seeking help during times of overwhelmness. I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to not just do it all by myself. Um, God, I love him. Oh, I love him so much. You're so good. There we go. Yeah. You know, one of these days I'll prioritize my health. Tonight is not one of those nights. My biggest problem right now with trying to find a doctor is just mainly that I work during all of the doctor's hours, which makes it impossible to try to have any type of doctor's appointment without asking for time off to go do it. And because I haven't worked for like 90 days, I'm like, am I allowed? Kim says I should do it anyway. Um but I'm very concerned about the idea of looking incompetent. So I'll have to maybe see if I can find one. Funny enough, I actually also work Saturdays. Not yet, but eventually I'll also sometimes work Saturday. Um yeah, I think I still have six sick time left. It's also just a matter of the fact that I'm still in training, and eventually I'm going to be off training, and I didn't want to waste my training time not training. Like I already lost an entire week of training going to Dragon Con, which I did get paid for, which was nice. Cuz I had vacation time. But I only did that because it was a pre-planned event before I started working there. Um which will be known as Nunya Bank, just so you know. Um so I didn't feel as bad doing that because they knew ahead of time when they hired me that, hey, by the way, at this time I'm not going to be available, and they were like, that's cool. Maybe not, I don't know, they've all seemed very nice. It's just I just kind of like just grew up in an environment where people aren't nice, and so so I try not to expect special treatment. um like like my dad once told me, if you can't do the job that you were hired to do, they're going to fire you. So whenever I feel like I'm not able to do a job for a moment, like if like when I have a panic attack or something, my brain immediately goes to, they're going to fire you because look how incompetent you are. You're crying in the corner. So thanks, Dad. I don't actually blame him for that, but the the internal noise is very bad. I need my anxiety to calm down and stop giving me panic attacks over making phone calls, because that is my job. My job is to make phone calls. I kind of need to do that. I need to get with a psychiatrist so they can start trying medications. that hopefully don't give me seizures. I would prefer if that didn't happen. I have enough people thinking I'm having seizures. I don't need to actually do it. But that's neither here nor there. Alright, I'm rambling. Good night, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. It seems like there's not going to be a lot of writing tomorrow, so it seems